What's up, everybody? This is Nate Bargatze at the Nateland podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. All the stuff you're doing it. It's going great. I'm here with Aaron Weber and Bryce. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Brian Bates.
Already started.
Two very funny local comedian. No, does that get old? We're all local comedians. It's fun to say it every time. Thank you guys. You guys have been awesome. Everybody's been very, very nice. Everybody's, as usual. We appreciate it. We're plugging along. I think we're figuring it out, keeping it going. I start everything the same way. Just doing that. I guess we dive in, right?
Yeah.
There's some comments as usual. We want to start with your comments. If you're not a fan of this part, fast forward. I mean, it's, on YouTube, it breaks down everything.
What do you mean?
They put the timestamps.
They put the timestamps up. I mean, you could.
Oh yeah.
You can go to YouTube and you could just be
one click. You're past it.
You're past it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. Just easy moving along.
Nate says everyone's been very nice. Now let's read the comments.
Let's read the comments. Huh? This paper says I beg to differ. Probably said that. Whole sauce. Nate somehow managed to twist the phrase contrary to popular belief to popular to disbelief. And I'm not sure you can ever recover from that. I said popular to disbelief?
Yeah. A few people pointed that out.
Huh?
A few people pointed that out.
Yeah, but I think I saw once. Someone was like, it's the same thing.
Well,
Is it not? Contrary to popular belief, this is popular to disbelief. Is that not the same thing?
I need to diagram it, dude. I can't. There's a lot going on there.
But is it mean the same thing?
Let me think about this.
Contrary to popular belief. So popular belief, the opposite of popular belief, right?
Right.
Popular to disbelief. So if you don't believe, it's getting right to the point.
It's actually better.
It's actually better. Popular to disbelief.
This next one, I don't know how you're gonna defend this one.
Tuna 85. Nate, I don't have many things with sentimental value either. Sentimental. What is it? Sentimental?
Yeah.
Sentimental. It's cinnamon things.
Someone also pointed out you mentioned Holly first, then your wife and child.
For what?
You were like, if I'd have lost something, as long as I got my dog, my wife, my child.
In that order.
In that order. Whoever I can get to,
They're all very sentimental.
Sentimental. A lot of bumper stickers. We're going to be sell them. Sentimental value. Bumper sticker. I don't know. We're not. Based Nate Knight. It's a fellow Nate. Don't throw me under the bus, buddy. Based on the difficulty with the vocabulary in the comments, I think Aaron hides his intelligence to make Nate feels more at ease. Aaron, is that true?
Absolutely not.
I'm borderline think you're sort of. Are you a prodigy of something?
At what?
I don't know. You play the piano really well. I think you're smarter than you're letting on.
Oh.
Did you pretend?
If I'm doing that, I'm not doing it to make you feel at ease.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
Well, I don't want that. But if you are super smart and you're holding back,
I feel like I'm decent at a lot of things. I'm not a prodigy at any one thing.
But you could be in the room. You would be with the prodigies. You'd be the interviewer of the prodigies.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Because you could be like, I can talk about all of your things that you guys do.
I could be like inside the actor studio. That dude. I could do that.
Yes. Okay.
Are you dumbing it down for Nate?
No.
Okay. Are you pretending not to know portend?
Are
you portending?
I forgot about that.
Are you pretending?
I hadn't seen that word in a while.
You know what's the and symbol? What's
ampersand.
That? Ampersand. My neighbor, Felix, who listens to every other episode of this podcast, I don't know. And he said ampersand this morning. And I was like, come on. Right when he said it, he's like, and then he was like spelling something. He's like, ampersand. And I go, well, you're being ridiculous. I go, what is that? And he goes, the and symbol. I was like, just say that.
There's never any reason to say ampersand.
Nobody says
just
ampersand.
Say and. That's what it is.
Look, I don't know. I didn't know when he said that. I wasn't like, oh, that's what that is. But my
what was the
popular
context?
Disbelief, we was just saying, I forget.
Sometimes it means something different than and, though. Like I know for like a TV show, if it's written by, The ampersand will mean something different than if it says just and.
Written and
If it's the and symbol, then it's like the two of them together. And if it's the word and,
assistant to the regional,
yeah, exactly.
It's the
it means more equal.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I remember all the scripts I've done that have gone nowhere, but it's the credits are like in some of that stuff. The way stuff gets worded in that is a big deal.
Yeah,
story by versus if you get story by, written by. If you can get written by and have the two people on it, then you can get a chance to get created by. Because if you look at Everybody Loves Raymond, he wasn't created by.
Oh, that's interesting.
He was based on the comedy of Everybody Loves Raymond. But it was Phil Rosenthal was created the show, and some of that it's because he would have been when he made that show, he was nobody. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he doesn't get whatever he wants now. If he made a show, he's going to get whatever he wants.
Yeah,
but it's big fights when that stuff goes down, and it's weird because in TV you make they make you go through the entire contract for the first season, and this is before, and then they just say afterwards we shot the pilot, and they're like no show. But I mean, you have to go through, and they're like, here's how much money you would make. Mm-hmm. It's like lawyers get super involved. It's all this big fight to then shoot the pilot and then be told no. It doesn't make sense. You're like, well, I don't want to. Why tell me all this stuff? You know. Just for fun, 1978, 1900. My dad is a pastor who has performed a lot of weddings over the years, and he frequently uses the line during the ceremony to much laughter. Marriage is two people working together to solve problems that never would have had if they had just stayed single. Love the show.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's a funny thing for a pastor to say.
Yeah, it's a good icebreaker. Yeah. Henry Smith, Aaron looks like every D-line coach ever. Yeah, I mean
he wishes.
Yeah,
yeah. I Coach Witt was my D-line coach in high school. I'm starting to look a little bit more like him every day.
Like you just would be. What would you be? Shorts guy? Would you wear flip flops or would you?
Basketball shorts, t-shirt, whistle.
Yeah.
Hat. Yeah.
Flip flops.
I could see my whole look. No, not flip flops.
Really?
Yeah. Tennis shoes. New.
Did you go barefoot?
No, I never had a coach go barefoot.
I know. Well, that's why you should.
That could be my thing.
That could be your thing.
Okay.
Do you think you could coach football?
No.
No. I got my wife.
I thought.
Yeah.
No way.
I went through a lot of thoughts there very quickly. I don't think so.
My wife was supposed to. My daughter wants to play basketball, so she was like, "Oh, coach, I could coach now, especially because no touring." And I play basketball. I know basketball. And I guess I could coach it for 8-year-olds, but it's a lot of pressure. Like, because parents get mad if you're not playing the kids. And
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff. I'd be like one of those parents that, in probably heart, like, don't let my daughter play as much just so people don't think I'm fair, you know.
Yeah.
Michael Ellis, the look on Brian's face when you guys said you love the idea of calling him different names is so funny. True unapproval and disappointment. I am so happy to see the number of subscribers has gone up so fast. I remember when it was only 300 or so. Great work, everyone.
Last month.
300. It's back down. I do remember my YouTube because subscribers on YouTube or mine. It was not when I started on touring. We were filming all this road life stuff, and I remember it got up to like I had nothing. Because all my YouTube videos are spread out. They're from like stand up and they're put up from different people. So it wasn't, and so, yeah, we've jumped a ton. We're doing good. It's the podcast.
All right.
That is my favorite running joke is just calling Brian.
Everybody, they all do it.
Even
dude.
In these comments, some of the names they call you are hilarious.
It's wonderful, dude.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Mary Lastilla. Hey guys, love the podcast. Nate, I'm a huge fan, but I don't know why you pick on Brian so much. He contributes a lot to the podcast. Yes. He also has a very soothing voice, and I think he should record audiobooks.
Yes.
Maybe since Nate has such a hard time reading the comments, he should let Brian take over. All right, see, Brian's mom apparently got a YouTube account.
Thank you, Mary.
I mean,
There were a few comments like that, but they would call me by the wrong name, so I didn't think they had the real spirit of it.
I was like, even when they're complimenting you, they still call you Bryce.
Even when they're defending me, they're like, Nate, you're a little too hard on Darren. I'm like, I don't know if you're being sincere or not.
They get off the B's.
Thank you, Mary.
Oh, yeah.
They're just on B names.
They're out of
right
B
now.
names
I mean,
by
like,
now.
all right, we go. You know, Brian does very good. Brian does a lot of work. Brian puts all this stuff together we talk about. No one's not acknowledging. Brian gets paid appropriately for that, which is 0. We're all getting 0. But one day Brian will get a little more than 0. Just a handshake. That's eventually what we'll go to.
I'm gonna go to the Ellen show.
You can go to the Ellen show. Probably nicer.
Treated better there.
Treated better at the Ellen show.
I have a statement I'd like to read. Nate Bargatze is a good person. He did not make me say this.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Bryce, for the anyway. All right. You know what? I'm gonna always read the comments. I will always. The comments are not gonna be taken from me. But what I will. You will have to. What is it?
Pride at my dead hand.
What is it, Michael Scott? He goes, "I will not leave this office. You will have to burn this building down." When he does you have 24 hours.
Why'd you say that? They're like, I don't know. They always say that.
They always say that. I always read the comments, but we did think of something. When we go through the other things, I will read it until I mess up, and then I get it taken from me. Until Brian messes up.
You got a short leash.
And then it comes back. It goes around until someone messes up. That's what I think should happen. Robbie G. Guys, you have great chemistry and balance. I'm sure most realize the heckling of one another is the stuff we did sitting around in our basements in high school, which is part of what makes the show killer. Brendan, you are intriguing. Brendan, you are integral. The Brendan threw me off. What's that? How do you say it?
Integral.
Integral.
You got it right the first time.
I know. The Brendan messed me up. Brendan, you are integral. I can't say it. Integral.
It's all right.
Brendan,
I think integral's right too. I've heard it
integral.
pronounced both ways.
Oh, thanks, Aaron.
So I say integral.
That felt like a dumb it down. Then he goes, "Hey, you said
You're
it
doing
right.
great, Nate.
Hey.
Keep going."
You were totally dumbing it down now for him.
Brendan, you're integral. Brendan. Yes, Nate. Real word that means necessary to the show.
They're dumbing it down for him now.
I know. It wouldn't be the same without all of you. Talk about a guy that gets it. And don't think I know y'all are throwing words in. Y'all wouldn't be using all these words.
No. Dude.
Nobody. You don't use those words in YouTube comments, dude. I see them. Chris Cho, I think what Aaron was going to say before Nate was set off was that some people argue that having children is selfish because of the idea that a person thinks that the world needs another version of them, someone with their DNA mini-me. When there are children in orphanages around the world that need loving parents. It's not that the world doesn't need children, but the world need their children. Yeah. Yeah, adopting is huge. My sister does the fostering, and it's wonderful. And fostering, I mean, it's an amazing thing, and they get called in the middle of the night, and it's just like, you got to take a kid now,
Oh.
I mean, maybe 11 o'clock at night. It's like we have
your whole family has helped out. I mean, I've met was it Jasmine?
Jasmine was there.
Yeah,
we bring them in. We're a big. Our families. If someone comes in, we're like, you're part of our family now, and then you're just in. We're good.
Yeah, we're on the same page about that.
You don't like it, okay?
No, I mean.
No, you're not you're against adoption.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I was saying the
Aaron,
comment. I was like,
yourself.
we're all on the same page here in the among the three of us. I feel like.
Yes, I think adopting should be way more. It should be more talked about, and I think easy. I mean, it can't be easier. It's definitely got to be harder. It's a weird thing that you can, but it seems like it's a long system. Mm-hmm. It's hard for people to get, but it's when someone does adopt, as my mom always said, it's the most selfless thing you can do.
Yep.
And it's truly wonderful. Mark Archer, my wife and I are listening to this episode as we struggle to get our 6-month-old twin boys to sleep, high-fiving each other as Nate goes off on his rant about people who deem themselves too worthy to have kids. My wife said those are the same people that ask to use your restroom and they don't flush the toilet because they are saving the oceans. See? Yeah, they get it too. They go. I don't know if I've anybody not flushed the toilet, but I know people that, when if it's, they say don't flush it, I flush.
Yeah.
I flush.
That'd be another advantage of getting a urinal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
A urinal.
In every house.
Yeah. Hannah Paulson, Nate says people who don't want kids are doing it because they're selfish, but then 3 seconds later, Nate says, what to put down and tell people it's selfish to have kids. Don't tell me what to do. That's so pompous. People shouldn't say things that make people feel bad. Do you see how you're contradictory and offensive here? Not really, but I'm sure you're right. I think I say a lot of things that sound like I'm arguing, like two people arguing.
Yeah,
and it's just coming out of the same mouth. And yeah, I'm pretty. That's just a big thing, But you just do it.
Just let him write it out.
Yeah, that's the point. I think most people do that. And they don't. I don't know if they do that. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Maybe you shouldn't. All right. Matt Carter, I love the full on Nate rant. I love the passion. It would be so easy to label Nate as just this simple guy who doesn't care. Thanks for saying what you really think. All right, now we're starting to get some traction here. This is we're gonna start picking up. Thanks, Matt. Jake Peterson, when we say you dress like it's fall, it's not because you're wearing a hoodie. It's because Aaron is wearing flannels like he just left a pumpkin patch.
Amen.
Well, he wore a flower hat to counteract that today.
That's right.
Don Thompson, Nate, right on the money when he said Laura earned everything that he has. How about more on how you three met? Do wives and fiancés hang out? My wife suspects that Laura made all the arrangements for Brian Bart's reception. We do.
Yep.
We do hang out. Me and Bates have been pretty close friends for 10 years. And so Aaron, I met second episode of this podcast. Apparently I feel like I'm just meeting you now. You're the smartest human being that's ever existed. Goes down there and just plays our piano like a maniac. And it's not a big deal. Just gets in his van and drives home. No, we all hang out. We go out with your wife, Ruth, now. And we've been there. And not crazy.
We've
Everybody's
never been
busy.
out together.
We did the Predators thing. We went together.
The thing you performed at?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we all went as a family. But Ruth comes because most things that we were doing were work related. So Ruth has been on the bus. She's been on, she's hung out. She's been with us. It's not like I don't know who she is.
Yep. And Laura, Laura did handle the reception, the arrangements.
Yes. Yeah.
And your mom
was obvious.
Oh man, it's a great call.
It was my idea.
It was your idea to have her handle it?
It was my idea for the reception.
Oh.
But she does
Okay.
She has to do the work.
That's right.
I'm the idea man. I come in with the ideas.
Yeah.
And then your fiance we were around her a lot, Lucy.
Yeah.
At Zany's.
It's a small world that we're in.
It is. Yeah. No one's we're all we're close. It wouldn't be weird if the wives walked in right now. No one would be like, why'd you bring your girl? I don't know. Did we answer all? How about more on? Yeah. When we all met doing comedy. That's how we all met. Torin Shanta, I'm teaching AP European history this fall. My current plan is just to show them the clip of Nate, Aaron, and Brian trying to figure out what the Middle Ages is and assume that we will prepare them for the test. I like that. We're still going to do an episode on Middle Ages. I had someone emailed me that knows a lot about Middle Ages.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He's from the Middle Ages. I said, how did you get an email? He's like, well, it was difficult, but I got it. I like that. This will be the first AP class I'll ever be a part of.
It's the idea that will inspire them to take their studies more seriously.
It could be.
Yeah.
To be good. Do you want to do this?
Is this where you want to end up?
They just show this as me just being integral And they go, do you even know what he's trying to say? And they're like, I don't even know.
I want to know how accurate we were.
Disbelief.
How accurate were we?
With the Middle Ages?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out.
I mean, what claims did we make? I can't even remember.
Well, I said it was from like 500s to the 1500s based on Wikipedia.
No. Wikipedia is usually pretty good.
There's still people out there who think we know what we're talking about, unfortunately.
Yeah. Let's put that
we look it up. We try to give it a go, but that's about all we can do.
Yeah.
Morgan Koistra. Morgan Koistra. Wait, so Brian sleeps with a CPAP machine but takes off his wedding ring at night because it's uncomfortable? That's a good point.
It's a fair point.
But the wedding ring doesn't help you breathe.
Well, I wouldn't wear a CPAP if I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I think, but it's like, I mean, he's getting so locked and loaded when he goes to bed. I mean, it's like
what's one more thing? Just keep the ring on?
Yeah, it's like was the ring really going to bother you?
Should put your belt on.
You have a helmet and a mask on your face. I mean, yeah, just wear your clothes to bed. Shoes, everything.
It's a fair point, Morgan.
You'll wake up ready to go, man.
Yeah.
I feel like Morgan is Ruth in disguise. Kyler Poole, that remedial math class really stuck for old Nate. 41 divided by 2 is 22. Book it. 41 divided by 2 is 22. When was that?
Few people pointed that out. I didn't catch it, but last week when we were doing half your age plus 7, apparently you said 41. I'm 41 divided by 2, so that's 22.
It's not far off, dude.
It's not far off. I would be, 20 and a half.
It's close enough we didn't feel like we needed to correct him. It's
Right.
just like, just stick with the main stuff.
As I've learned, if you can say stuff with a little confidence, and you're close enough, you're going to get by. That's the advice. CJ, Brian has resting confused face. That is true.
Well, let me say, first of all, when Nate's talking, it's not resting.
Yeah.
But I've had this before. When I was a senior in high school, we went on our senior trip to Panama City. It was my first time away from my parents. I was so excited. My friends down there, and we met these girls. I was trying to be so cool, just hanging out. And out of nowhere, one of these girls just goes, "This guy looks worried." And they all start dying laughing. Yeah. And they're like, "Look, he's worried." And the rest of the trip, they called me Worried. That was my nickname, was Worried.
Worried is such a good word to use. Like if they would have said, "This guy looks confused," worried.
I mean, they labeled
dude.
Me that. Yeah.
God.
Oh, man.
Worried is such a good word.
Yeah.
For that situation.
Yeah, women know how to cut to your heart, don't they?
She could have said confused. She could have said
that would have ruined the whole trip for me.
I mean, I still remember it to this day.
He could have said
just trying to hang out.
I was trying to be so cool by not talking.
This guy looks
man.
Worried. Yeah.
And then I hadn't said a word.
Bum over here looks worried. Who's he with? You two? And then for them just to call you Worried. God, that's so funny, dude.
I still remember it.
That's like professional stand-up. It's a great. You would try different words,
right?
You would be scared, confused. You would try everything, and Worried. If anybody's like, think about comedy, Worried is just a very funny word, and it's just such a description that it's not a strong person.
And it's a.
It hurts. Like you don't say worried about. Right. He-Man is not worried.
No.
There's soldiers are not worried. Like they're confused. They could be scared. Scared is okay.
Yeah.
Worried is
also not worried about anything in particular. Just worried in general.
Just a general look. And it's coming from guys. You maybe could see that, but from a girl.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they all laughed. I mean, I was mortified.
Yeah.
Got more worried.
She got super worried.
Yeah, it is self-fulfilling.
Couple more. Stephen Bauer. I walked into a public restroom at a grocery store to an old man completely naked washing his underwear in the sink. Looks at me directly in my eyes and says, "I just didn't make it, I just had to turn around and walk straight out." That's insane, dude. I mean, yeah, we talked about that, right? I think there's two. That's not normal. You can't just be like, guy code, right? You cool?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well, there's some guys that would be like that. Your secret's safe. I think do like that, but that's crazy. Dude. That's crazy. I just didn't make it. Just throw your underwear away.
Well, this guy's having a bad day.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody walks in on him and he plays. I kind of respect how he played it off like that.
I do too.
I don't.
It's just
I don't.
You know what? It happened. I can't change it. I'm trying to fix it.
Sometimes you don't make it.
I'm not playing into it. I don't think he's just throw them away.
I think old people have limited number of underwear, and
That's
they're
right.
gonna make them ride.
Those said Wednesday, and you can't get more. Because these are my. It says Wednesday on the back of them.
Everybody has a favorite pair, right? Do you have a favorite pair of underwear? It'll change your whole day. Oh man, I have a couple that
I buy the same kind that I like.
Okay.
And then so they're all the same.
Okay.
Same kind. Yeah. Do y'all have? I mean, what do you?
I feel like you want to tell us about
born
yours.
in the 50s?
No,
Yeah, that's what I feel like. That's like an old man. That's like
all mine.
like
I
your
have all.
grandfather
I have
says.
all MeUndies, but there's the design will give me a little extra confidence too. If I know that I'm wearing it,
yeah.
I'll just feel good.
Mine are just regular colors. Mine are Lululemon.
Oh
Man,
Makes sense.
they're women's. I started not getting the design because I wear shorts, and so I wear like the short ones that kind of go down.
Yeah.
And when I sit down, like my regular shorts will show them, and it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
If it's like camouflage, and you're like, I'm sorry.
Dinosaurs
Yeah.
or something.
Someone's like, I'm
Grown
40.
man.
Got 2 pair of shorts and camouflage underwear.
Almond Milk, last one. 8 episodes in, and I just noticed Nate, Aaron, and Dave don't say any swear words ever. I never knew it was so possible to smile from ear to ear for an hour without any F-bombs. New favorite podcast. That is true. We try to keep Dave calm down. He would let it rip. Yeah. You know, if you know my comedy's clean. And so that's the general, I don't want my parents to get mad at me. So we're all clean comedians. And so we just stayed being a clean comedian.
Well, it's not like we're letting it rip off camera.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It is. This is how we are, and we don't try to make a big deal about it. I think as a clean comedian, your best compliment as a clean comedian is when people are like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were clean." Yeah. That's what you're trying to go for, and so this podcast is kind of the same thing. We want it to be like that, where maybe you don't notice, and there's plenty of cursing in podcasts, so you can find it if you want it. But here, one day we will. Just turn. I did an interview with not to be name dropping, but with Jeff Foxworthy has a show on Sirius, and I did an interview with him. We just talked for he does like an hour thing, and he was talking about being clean, and I was like, it's just how I started clean. And when you start clean, I mean, now it's been 17 years of writing jokes clean. So I'm trained that way. I don't really think of any sex jokes. Not saying I ever wouldn't, or if something doesn't come up, but I just don't, my brain doesn't kind of go to there anymore. But I was talking to Foxworthy about it. It's like, it's not, I was like, I'm just clean, I was like, I'm going to be like, but once my parents die, I'm going to let it rip, I'm just waiting them out. All right, we're going to, here we go. We're on to the topic today. I'm not a good transition guy. That's what I've just realized.
Yeah.
Into the comments, I think I start weird. I'm going to get better at that.
Well, this one's going pretty good.
I don't know. People would argue that it's not. I've heard people are. So we're doing something different. We're actually having our first guest today. We got a guest. We got someone sitting in, and we're very excited to have him. This episode, just so you know, we're going to talk about TV, a lot of TV episodes, something we're all excited about. This guest was an easy get. Wasn't tough to get him. Too easy, to be honest. This guy's I've become very good friends with, and you can come on in. Please welcome John Augustine. Everybody, look at this. The big no one cares, John. Aaron clapped a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Little delayed. Vandy fight song.
All right.
You might. That's about how Vandy starts their fights. It's always late a little bit. If you want to, John Augustine is a golfer at Vanderbilt. Me and John have become friends. he's in his 5th year now at Vanderbilt. Sometimes, hey, not everybody graduates in 4. Sometimes it takes people longer. He's going to try to tell you it's because of COVID. Not true at all. Just couldn't cut it. There goes, I don't know. Me and John we've got to golf a lot. I'm at where I play is where Vanderbilt's golf team is at. And so me and John have hit it off and been fun. And John is playing in the U.S. Open and the Masters this year as an amateur. So we want everybody to watch that. We're all rooting for John. Big deal. I mean, John, you think you can win?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the attitude you got to have.
Going to the tournament to play well. If you play well, you should be in contention.
Just, talking, yeah.
Do you feel like so there'll be no fans there, right?
Yeah, they're not going to have fans. They haven't exactly stated yet whether they're going to allow
family.
Yeah, family, maybe 10 people per group or something like that. But it's certainly going to be different, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But
that's how you play golf most of the time, right?
Yeah, so maybe easier.
Yeah, there's
we have a
nobody
pretty
that
big
attends
group
our
that
tournaments.
walks behind us every time we play. Yeah, just your regular normal round. We just got some guys behind us.
Yeah.
John, when I played the club championship, John showed up. We did it. So it was I was playing in our club championship, and it was my first kind of real competition I've played in golf. Very excited. I kind of go crazy in golf, especially in these times. I just went nuts. And so I get playing in it. First day, I shoot a 73, 1 over.
Everybody was shocked.
Huh?
Everybody was shocked.
Everybody was shocked. I mean, I was in the final group. So then you get paired. Just 3 days. And so I shoot a 73 in tournament play. Probably the best. It's the best I've ever played because you got to put everything in. There's no gimmies. There's no nothing. So I get in that final group, and that second day, the wheels come off, and ended up shooting 83 that second day. But I had on back-to-back holes, I had 8s. And I mean, one of them, I hit a ball, it went in some high grass. They actually found it, but I thought I was playing a different ball. I go back, hit another ball, and then it comes out, and I was like, oh, no, that was my ball. And you can't hit it, and so now I've already taken the stroke. So I get an 8, and then that's what John kind of shows up, because he's going to ride around for a few holes. And so he shows up and sees that. And I'm just driving next to him. I was like, I just got an 8 on that hole. And then next one, I just hook on the left out of bounds. So I have to hit a provisional.
No. Well, yeah, that's right. Yep, you're right.
And
it
then
wasn't out of bounds. You just couldn't find it.
Just couldn't find it. And then, not out of bounds. And then the other one goes out of bounds. It goes left again. And I look at John, and John just goes, we're fine one of those. And then we went, and I was in a bunker, and for some reason I tried to hit a 7-iron. It was just a mess. And I mean, John was like, he goes, look, you got to just get like a triple bogey now. Like at this point, just triple bogey it. And I get an 8.
After trying to get it out of the sand on your, probably 5th shot now, I looked at you, I was like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What is this? I mean...
And the first time we played together, I putted, and I missed the putt. Putt went too long. He just goes, your speed is awful. And then just kept walking. Like my speed, y'all know.
Do you get nervous playing golf around people that are really good at golf? Is there part of you that you get more nerves when that happens?
I don't think so. I mean, now me and him have played so much, so I don't. I've played with Jason Day a few times, and I don't. I mean, you want to play good. I don't think I weirdly don't get nervous in that kind of scenario. I would get nervous. I mean, you don't. I know I'm now good enough to. The ball's going to go out there. I'm going to hit it. I mean, now I've got the topping. I was topping the ball recently. I got embarrassed when I was playing with these guys, and I had hit 5 provisional balls on a hole, and I shot an 82. So that means I had 5 double bogeys, and I still shot an 80. Like I would have shot even par.
Yeah.
And but I kept topping them, and then they would hit, and I mean they'd go 10 yards. And I was playing 2 guys that were like scratch, and that was kind of embarrassing because it just kept happening over and over again. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of them it happened like 3 times, 3 tee boxes in a row, and that was and I didn't really know these guys, and I was like, oh, that's all right, they're just kind of like, and I mean I'm just constantly having to throw another ball down. So yeah. but it's gotten better. Once you said the games were, putting getting better.
Yeah, I mean, with how much you've been playing, I'd say that there was nowhere else to go. It had to get better.
It had to get better.
It's
What's the best score you've ever? I don't know why we're talking about Nate's golf game.
Right.
We got a professional golfer.
I've shot even par once. Thank you, Brian. And 73 in the club championship. Oh, John's here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, John.
I've shot 60 a few times. Never shot 59. Shot 60 actually at Vanderbilt Legends.
Yeah.
On the South Course, I shot 60 at my home course in Owensboro, Kentucky. That's where I'm from.
You should try Riverside and Hermitage.
Yeah, I've heard everybody's talking about it.
I know.
So.
We're going to take them. You got to go with us there. I want to go. I want you to go with me to Riverside. I grew up playing. I think it's gotten better, but it's just a public course that's been around forever.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to see y'all playing because you could drive every green, I think.
Yeah.
Have you shot 60, Brian?
Yeah. Brian
On the front?
No, Brian is 60. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, that's right.
How old is Brian? Are you 60 now or are you not? Brian's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Brian's gotten a lot better. We played with my buddy Michael, and Michael hasn't played in forever. And if Michael hits it, Michael can hit it, but he was just kind of really off. And so we had them play the last 3 holes. I was like, all right, y'all two got to go at it. And Brian had to give Michael a stroke, which Brian has never given anybody a stroke ever. And he had to give him a stroke. And we were doing triple bogey max. And out of those 3 holes, I think 2 of them, they both got triple bogey maxes. And then the last hole was a free for all. You could score.
Yeah.
And it was so fun for me just to watch because they both get themselves in just some brutal trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. Brian had to go look for his ball when he tees it off, goes and looks for it, has to drop again, and he's basically back by the tee box where the group behind us is, which was funny just to think you would have to go to talk to the guys behind us. Could you guys quiet down and try to hit my second shot, please? And then watching Brian go up, y'all both tied that hole, but Michael had a putt. And then we go play one playoff hole, and Michael just 250-yard drive.
Right down the middle.
On the green, pars it, and it was like
easy.
Yeah. It was like nothing.
Yep.
So John is he finished. He was a finalist of the USAM last year, so he would be done with school right now.
Yeah.
He would have already graduated. He did graduate. He would already be done. Would already played in the Masters and the Open. You'd be on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or
you never know for sure, but I would likely have played the PGA Tour this summer with some sponsors invites, and so. But yeah, I mean, it's all good. All of it happens, for a reason. So we'll just kind of waiting it out. I'm going to play the U.S. Open, the Masters this fall, and then hopefully get some exemptions after that, and either next summer or if plans change and I leave after this first semester. I'm not sure yet.
How nervous do you think you will be at Augusta? Like, you've played Augusta.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
right.
When it's...
I think...
what time do you think you tee off?
I don't know.
Super early? Y'all tee off?
Is he an amateur? Send him out 6:30.
You were out before they announced that
they're cutting they're going to cut the first fairway while I'm teeing off.
Just heads up, guys. Don't catch the lawn crew, but they're about 2 holes ahead of you.
I don't know when I'll
do the amateurs, when do they usually tee off the amateurs?
It
varies.
Yeah, it varies. So, I don't know when I'll tee off. But, yeah, I mean, I'll be nervous. But, I've luckily played in a PGA Tour event. I played in one last year. And so I didn't feel more nervous there than any other event. I'm always, kind of anxious on the first tee shot. But once I can get it off the tee, we're just kind of competing.
You're playing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to help with no crowd. I mean, they talked about with Jason Day talked about, with no crowd, like it is, you could see people like who's going to thrive in those crowd situations are going to be the guys that have been around for a long time. So, and the people that could get nervous.
I think that the people who you would think would thrive in the crowds are the new guys out on tour. And then myself being an amateur, like all those guys have been playing college golf, amateur golf, junior golf for the last, most of their lives where nobody shows up. And
so they're used to it.
Like they're used to it. Like Colin Morikawa, I know well, he won the PGA 3 weeks ago or whatever. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying, that he would thrive in that.
Yeah,
Colin.
he would.
Yes.
You said
That's-
guys that would be around
Well,
forever.
I mean, clearly we know from the comments I contradict popular disbelief. I mess up quite a bit, but that's what I mean. It's going to help. Like I think that's Jason was saying. Like Tiger Woods, if it's crowded Sunday, Tiger's he thrives that crowd being around. Versus a newer Colin, some of these younger kids, like I mean, look, they had when Tiger won the Masters last year, was seeing Koepka and all the like that had to play into it. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I like crowds. I want in the whatever probably 10 events that I've actually had big crowds. Like I think it's fun. I think it's
yeah, crowds are great.
It's great. You kind of feel off the energy. So I'm kind of conflicted on the subject. I think it could go both ways.
Well, we need you to make a decision. So. But make sure you go watch John at the. We're very excited at the U.S. Open, the Masters.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I don't know what
No.
none of us are doing. A bunch of losers here. We started a podcast. So John also one thing we've bonded over was Seinfeld. Big Seinfeld. John is 22.
Yeah.
Right. Super young. Born the year I graduated high school. I could be his father. I think my parents wouldn't have been thrilled about it, but the age fit.
It works out. Yeah, you had been 20.
19.
And a half.
Yeah. No, I would have been 19.
Just doing that math again, dude.
Yeah, here we go.
I
would
by
be
2.
exactly the divided by 2 plus 7, almost. But he a big Seinfeld fan, which was surprising.
Yeah.
As someone your age, you wouldn't think. I think people are watching it's with the Friends, Office, Seinfeld. I think they're getting an extra life with that, and it's a big extra life with the Netflix and Hulu, and all them showing these shows again. I mean, Friends. I mean, I think people are watching Friends like it's.
John and I are roughly the same age.
All right.
There was a TBS block for a while that it was like King of Queens. Seinfeld. What else was
Everybody
on?
Loves
You know what I'm
Raymond.
talking about? Yeah. It was just all those shows were on there. So that's how I watched all of them.
Yeah.
But for you guys, you grew up with the internet. Like anybody born 1990 or later probably had the internet your whole life. Do you feel like you view TV different than us in the sense that TV was it
I don't
for
like
us
that
as a
me and
kid?
him get.
Yeah.
We're on this side.
I knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
What is your thing? We said it before. A couple guys.
Us?
That you always say about me and you.
We're both two guys, both in our 40s, both born in the 70s, and both graduated high school in the 90s. I mean, it's just facts.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's funny
Yeah.
about it.
I think, like for me, going back to like what Aaron said, like I grew up because I think I liked Seinfeld so much. Was I grew up when my dad loved Seinfeld, and so every single night at 5 o'clock, TBS showed 5 to 5:30. 5:30 to 6, 2 episodes of Seinfeld every night. And so, I mean, I did that for 17 years of my life.
You thought it was on air because you were so young.
I don't know what I thought. I don't think, I think when I was probably 14, I was pretty aware that it was not on TV.
Well, I thought, which we're talking about, I thought Andy Griffith I didn't know that it was not. And it was off air for 40 years. It was like off air before my parents were born.
Why did you think it was in black and white and nothing else on TV?
I mean, when I was a kid, dude, it's on TV.
It's just an artistic decision from Andy
No,
Griffith?
I'm not even remotely. We had a black and white TV in our...
Really?
Yeah, in our kitchen. My parents brought a small black and white TV. I didn't have an HD TV, dude. It was on regular...
Sorry, dude.
Not all of us grew up with money like you.
I thought as a kid watching sitcoms, I thought the actors just improv'd it there on the spot. Like I didn't realize there were.
That's dumber than what I think.
Well, I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember watching an episode of something, and one of them kind of started laughing, broke character a little bit, and my mom's like, "Oh, look, they're about to laugh," and I thought, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm shocked they don't laugh all the time." Because they don't know what's coming. Because I really just thought they were thinking of it there on the spot. But I was 6.
Something.
Yeah.
I had that. I remember I used to think people really died in TV shows and movies.
I mean, y'all, what I did was nothing. Y'all are maybe...
We were very young.
These are 2 of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life.
You learned about Andy Griffith like 6 years ago.
No, but for me to be a kid and think that it's currently being filmed now is not that insane. You think it's all made up. You think these people are truly dead. That's wild. Dude.
I remember watching like Gunsmoke with my grandparents, and people would die, and I'd be like, "Man, they really gave it all for this show." And it's like, that's amazing. They do that. They were that committed. You know,
they are. Yeah.
Did you think of any?
No, I can't say I've ever thought of that.
Is that how you get into Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. He went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not easy to get into.
But did you guys?
Apparently it is.
I didn't write about this in my essay.
Apparently it is.
Yeah.
I had no internet, so TV is all we had to watch. Were you on your computers more or watching TV more?
TV. I've never watched TV on my computer. I didn't have I had a computer in my house, like a family computer, with desktop and everything. But like, I didn't have like a laptop until I went to college, and so.
But now do you watch? So you watch everything on when you're at home? Are you watching on your phone? Are you watching on your iPad, TV?
I would say I pretty much always watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Now it may be like a smart TV where you're connected to Wi-Fi, you watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever, but
it's like that.
Most of the stuff I'm watching, if it's not Seinfeld, I'm watching sports.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have cable.
No. No, I have YouTube TV right now.
TV.
So I get the channels, the live channels.
Yeah, it's such a crazy thing, but that's, we've talked about TV. Let's get into this TV. Right. So when was TV invented? The world's first television was created in 1927 by a 21-year-old inventor named Philo Taylor. Or Philo or Philo?
If it's Philo, then I get to take over reading.
Well, we don't know.
You forgot his last name.
He's here.
Farnsworth.
Farnsworth.
Yeah, missed that too.
Philo Taylor Farnsworth. All right, I think I get that. A name like that, that doesn't count.
What was on it?
On the TV?
Yeah. It has a TV. What's on it?
Just his family.
The VCR hasn't been invented. Just his family's on there?
Just pictures.
Yeah, what was on? What was the first TV show? America's first television program aired in 1928 and was called The Queen's Messenger. It was a radio drama adapted for television. The program was thought to be broadcast only to 4 television sets. So 1927, the TV was invented, nothing was on it.
Yeah.
And then 1928, that show, The Queen's Messenger.
And Philo was like, thank God you finally gave me something to put on this TV. I've had it for a year.
Yeah. And he just one night, he goes, I do this every night. Just seeing.
Nothing.
He goes, nothing.
Oh.
Just one day, just.
Queen's Messenger.
What's this? Changes it. Back to nothing. It's not good. It's like, it stinks.
It's got to be pretty weird, though, that it was a radio. Like, if I'm thinking of this correctly, it would be a radio show that they now are putting on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've done a show. They do, when I would do the Prairie Home Companion, which is on NPR, Chris Thiele, they do, Tom Papa would write out this kind of stuff, like a radio show where you're kind of like, it's either being funny or it's like that kind of stuff. It's pretty interesting. I mean, it's like people are listening to radio. I mean, I think people used to sit around the radio. Like,
it's interesting that we've kind of come back to that now. I mean, we're doing a podcast right now. Mm-hmm. The idea of doing this 20 years ago would be insane.
Yeah.
You're going to do a radio show?
Well, it's the same thing with like The Herd. Like, that's a radio show, but they put it on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah. Do you listen to any regular radio, or do you think you'd be all? Do you listen to podcasts?
I listen to some podcasts. They got to be good. I haven't listened to this one yet.
Yeah.
So,
because that's okay. That's fair.
Yeah. But no, I listen to the only radio I listen to is 104.5.
Yeah.
The Game. Yeah.
I
listen to that in the morning.
The Zone.
That's it. The Zone.
102.5 The Game.
I listen to 104.5
midday 180.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
The Zone.
All right.
Yeah. They
Clay Travis in the morning.
So they're doing. I wonder if now radio is like, because I mean, there's going to be people that are not listening to I mean, all they're doing is listening to podcasts. They're not regular radio. I think Sirius does good. I listen to Sirius. I like Sirius. I like just how easy that once it's all going to change. Once everything, the thing with internet TV and internet, all this stuff with the radio is you have to go to you can't just flip and listen to what's on.
Yeah.
So once that, I feel like is on, like with Sirius Radio, you can go to news, sports, comedy, and I get to kind of just flip and whichever thing I want to stop on. But once with internet radio, you got to I feel like you got to go TV is I got to go to Netflix. I got to come out of Netflix. Got to go to Hulu. It's these extra steps that I think is the only thing that's keeping it from just regular cable's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my parents like 2 nights ago were like asked me like, what am I paying for YouTube TV? And I told them they're paying like 4 times that for cable. And so they're like, well, we're gonna try YouTube TV. And so I gave them my account information. They signed in, and my mom immediately calls me and was like, why can't you switch between channels? And I was like, what do you mean? You just like go back and like scroll down. She's like, so I have to do that every time I want to switch channel. I was like, yeah, it's pretty simple though. It's not very hard.
It's how you get into it though.
Yeah.
I think for you,
I can't click 24. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
Well, she wants to just turn it and it pops on.
Yes.
And you're kind of flipping through it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of done.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really flip. Now the guide, I don't do it much.
Right.
But sometimes it's nice to press down and it changes the channel.
Yeah.
But my parents are on YouTube TV now.
Yeah.
They're done. We still have DirecTV. But, I mean, we're close. It's close. I mean, because it just seems like everything's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't understand. Like, there's parts that I don't get to watch as much TV as I want to now. And so it's just my daughter, I think my daughter is not ever going to, she'll just be Netflix. Like she's just used to.
Well, kids don't even think about TV in the same way that we do as like a channel being something that's just going on.
Yeah.
And then you just tune in and watch whatever's on it and then tune out.
It's
you
like
don't
I
even think about it that way. Yeah, that's how I watch TV.
Yeah.
Almost all my life until the last few years.
Yeah.
Now it's just you have a show, I'll just watch that show.
It's not linear. Yeah, so she'll be Harper, she's 8. She'll be that generation that is the show starts when I press play.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
Right.
And watching something live. I mean that's the
Well, that's the thing too, like I feel like TV also went to like, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, whatever, around that time, like it went to you want a million channels. Like, oh, you can upgrade all these packages. And now it's coming back to where like you realize you only really watch like 8 to 10 separate networks, I think. Like when I'm at home, I don't flip around the 700 channels my parents have. I watch ESPN or whatever I'm trying to watch, and that's it.
If the cable company let you pick individual channels that you wanted, how many would you pick?
20.
Yeah, I think probably less than that if you really think
What's
about
one
it.
channel that if you could only pick one, what would you pick?
ESPN.
Yeah.
PBS.
Yeah, there you go. I always thought about this. There was a while I thought I would almost take TBS.
Yeah, TBS.
Because for sports, even though I want sports,
you still get a few
You still
games
get
a
your
year.
Braves games.
Yeah.
You
would get other
March
stuff, and
Madness.
you're not gonna want just sports. You want a mix, and I always thought TBS would be a good.
Yeah.
It's like reruns.
Mhm.
Yeah, all that March Madness. You'd get some of that.
That's a good pick, TBS. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, it is a good pick because I'm smarter than all of y'all.
What are you doing on PBS, dude? Watching
Learning.
Ken Burns documentaries?
Yes,
all
I'm
day?
learning.
60 Minutes.
No, I watch
That's
60
CBS,
Minutes, but that's
isn't
CBS.
it?
Do you watch
okay.
PBS?
Yeah,
I like
got good stuff.
Ken Burns.
Austin City Limits.
That's a good show.
Thought that was a music festival.
No, it's a
It's a show that they show music.
Yeah, they show music on PBS. Do you know PBS?
I've heard of it. It has that little icon.
Yeah.
Like a
You're
head.
too young to start watching it.
Head. Yeah.
It's this age group.
Yeah, it's this side of the
But
table.
they have kids programming too. Sesame
Yeah.
Street.
They do during
Yeah.
the day. Yeah.
You know, I never really watched
It's so when
Sesame Street.
grandparents are watching their grandchildren,
Yeah.
they can bond over a channel.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. No, PBS is good. They have a lot of good stuff. It's brought to you by PBS.
And viewers like you.
When did TV sets begin being sold? It would take until 1938 before American television sets were produced and released commercially. They were an instant hit after release. Did that count as that wasn't?
I didn't even pick up on it.
No, yeah. See, that doesn't
I heard
count.
it.
It's when I don't know a word.
You didn't pick up on him stuttering
Yeah.
and pausing uncontrollably?
Yeah, I
No.
saw it.
1938. Yeah, I mean they would have been. How much were they? Did you see any of that? I mean,
That's
how
a
much
good
could a
question.
TV set have been? $500. I mean,
What?
I'm
For back then,
I'm guessing it was the equivalent of owning a boat for your family.
Yeah.
Like it was that
like
sort of
15
status
grand,
level,
like
probably.
yeah,
I
$5,000,
I don't think so.
maybe $5,000.
I could be way off here.
Yeah.
If you had a TV, it
Brian,
would
what's
be
it say?
Yeah, it was impressive. Yeah,
Looks like depending on what size you got, it ranged from 125 to 250.
a
A
3-inch.
3-inch
5-inch.
TV.
a-
Wow.
Wow. Well, what? How much is an iPhone? Then?
Imagine.
Well, it says
That's
down
like
there in
7.
1938, a car cost $700. So that was not, if you scale
How
that out.
much was it for today?
Oh, well, how much are cars now? A lot, right?
20
30
grand.
20 grand.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you want, but
Yeah.
20, 30.
Yeah.
So it's 700. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they're biggest phones.
they're smaller than phones. That TV is smaller
Yeah.
than a phone.
Yeah.
You got to be
3
sitting
inches.
pretty close
I
to
mean,
that.
what
TV.
did that? Yeah.
Dude,
How
guy,
do
guy comes over and mounts it on his wall.
Can you do? Can you look at an image of a 5-inch? I'm just what? I mean, how thick does that have to be?
Honestly, they were watching it. We're talking about kids now watching on phones. They were already watching it on
They were
phones
already
back
watching
then.
on phones.
Yeah.
You could take it everywhere. I mean, that's such a, because I don't think it was so compact. It's cheaper than I thought. All right,
That's
so it
pretty
was, it was
expensive, dude.
it's a big box, but the screen
Yeah.
is only 5 inches.
Looks bigger than 5 inches, but
I don't know. That one in the middle with the blue background looks about right.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. I mean, like, yeah. So you would just turn. I mean, you
They
couldn't
look like
really.
ATMs. don't they?
Yes, yeah.
Like
They look like ATMs, and it definitely looks like something that you're not comfortable. You're not lounging and watching.
No.
Think about like TV now. You can lay on the couch.
Right.
You can lay on the floor. That's one that you're sitting upright. Someone's probably standing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe two people are standing. If you're trying to watch TV, you got to go walk over to it.
It's one view.
I mean,
at
I
a
can
time.
remember as a kid, we didn't have remote controls, and I was the
Yeah.
remote control changer.
Yeah, yeah. I remember we didn't. I don't think we. I remember not having remote control. I mean, the black and white TV was. I remember my family, my mom's, all her sisters, they all got it for Christmas one year, and it was to have a TV in the kitchen. It wasn't our main TV, but the one in the kitchen was 15 inches, and it was
Mhm.
black and white, and you'd watch it. But it wasn't crazy to have that black and white TV. It wasn't like, why are we buying this black and white TV? I mean, I don't know if you could buy one now. You'd have to go like eBay or something. But it was just one that was made for us for in the kitchen. And then we had TV, but we didn't. I don't think I remember having a remote. I think I remember getting a remote. It was crazy that you could just,
Yeah.
It's so funny. You had like your role in the family was you were the TV changer.
Yeah, for my parents and grandparents.
So you just sit closest to the TV.
I'd be lying on the floor watching, and my dad'd say, change the channel, and I'd get up and turn until he.
yeah, that was like
something.
the old. That's what you say about kids. Was kids?
why you had 'em.
That's why you had them. Change the channel.
And then you got a remote. What did you do after that? You just
he was
lost
fired.
your. You
I
just lost your
relaxed.
purpose.
He was
in
put
the
up for
family.
adoption.
My dad said that when he was a kid and they were watching, like Kentucky basketball games, they would turn the sound off on the TV and turn it on the radio with the screen on because he said it was it was much better on the radio than it was on the TV, but you could watch it and listen at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when you listen to. I've done that.
Yeah.
Where if I want to hear
Mhm.
some of it, I want to specifically hear about like Vanderbilt.
Uh-huh.
So and I want to hear our people talking about them versus.
And then there's a delay.
Yeah, you got to sync them. That's what's
Yeah.
hard.
When did commercials start? The first American advertisement aired on July 1, 1941. The ad was for Bulova watch and lasted for 10 seconds. It aired on NBC. That watch has been around for a long time.
Is it still around?
Yep. First ad, wow.
It's interesting. It took that long for commercials to start. How was all this being funded?
Well, the show's the first show was 28, but that was a radio program. There was probably ads on that radio program,
Okay.
but they were just sad ads.
Okay.
And then the first, like, let's film a
Yeah.
commercial. When did remote controls begin? When were you born, Brian? The first remote control was produced by Zenith and released in 1955. This remote control could turn the television on or off and change the channel. It was completely wireless. That's nuts. I mean, that's my parents were born then.
Took us a while to get it.
That's what I was
didn't
about to say. It took y'all
Yeah.
25 years to get that remote.
I think it was
that.
expensive. It was,
Must have been.
maybe, did we ever? Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what else was wireless at that time? Probably not a lot.
No.
Maybe we,
The
yeah.
remote might not have been wireless.
It says it was wireless.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
When did, maybe you don't
These
zone
are
out
cold,
towards
hard
the end.
facts, dude.
Yeah.
You notice
I didn't-
all the sources on
When
here?
did color TV start? On June 21, 1951, CBS broadcasted the first color program. Only 12 customers across America could see the first color TV broadcast. 12 million other TVs were blank for this program. Few people owned color TV sets between 51 and 65. Starting in 66, color TV programming was broadcast across America, leading to a surge in sales of color television sets. I mean, think of like 12 people. But what if you're one of those 12 people?
I could see you being one of them.
Yeah. Well, I could see you being. I thought it'd be you. Like it'd be like a weird group, but you wouldn't have the color. You'd be a part of like. You're always part of these weird things that I was one of the people they asked about. But 12, man. Can you imagine? You're like only 12 of you. There's 12 million TVs.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not like there was 1,000.
I bet the people on the show though were like, guys, there's 12. The rest of them can we just keep it black and white for a little bit longer so more people can see us?
Yeah.
Yeah, the actor is just, why didn't you make it? Because I don't know. I was on for 12 TVs. There's 12 houses I can't go to the bathroom in because I'm so famous, but the other 12 million. I mean, yeah. Then color TV sets started and we were off and running. I mean, TV was probably, people just people needed stuff to do. I mean, can you imagine having to listen to radio just your whole life, and then you get TV and you're like, I mean, it'd be like a drug. You're like, I want to see all this stuff. We're so bored. You can't do anything. And then you're just like dying for it. Historical TV milestones in the last 40 years. Well, just a few of the 79 ESPN debuted. Ted Turner launches CNN 1980s 24-hour a day news. That was a big deal. MTV 1989 pay-per-views began to leave its mark on the television, reaching about 20% of all wired households. 1992 infomercials explode with growth. The National Infomercial Marketing Association estimates infomercials generate sales of $750 million, double that of 1988. That's crazy. So they're making that much money.
Yeah. You ever watch infomercials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Do you
like
have a favorite one?
VC or something.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're a whole channel, QVC.
Yeah.
The what's the guy that was kind of crazy? That like had a huge drug problems.
The ShamWow guy?
ShamWow guy.
Yeah.
He had big problems.
He did.
Yeah.
And that guy would just come on. He was so good at selling stuff that I think he would like get off of it and then need money, and anybody would take him because he was so great. That's a whole system in itself. That's a whole different level of like, I can sell things.
Yeah, Billy Mays. Him too.
Yeah.
Magic Bullet. You remember the Magic Bullet?
Yeah.
They had a great infomercial.
Yeah.
Check it out.
You know who has now it's like commercials like Geico, like the rat problem. Like the Geico's killing it.
Geico's always great.
Yeah.
ESPN always had great commercials.
Mm-hmm.
They had awesome
This is
commercials.
Sports Center commercials. Are
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
those are the best.
Yeah.
Those new Sports Center commercials, that was like they're acting like they're back in time. Like it's running like recently, and they're like they're Farmers Insurance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are good right now.
Yep.
1993, 98% of American households owned at least one TV, 64% owning two or more. That's a lot. I mean, 93, it's in. 96, digital satellite dishes come around. And then 2000 DVDs. 2004 DVDs outsell VHS. I remember going to Blockbuster and getting VHSs. Do you remember VHSs?
Yeah, I remember VHSs, but I definitely remember going to Blockbuster. I did that my entire childhood.
Yeah, I mean, you would have been 2004. I mean,
I'd
yeah,
been
you would have been 7. So you remember seeing VHSs?
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all had a VCR?
Yeah. I think they might still have it, honestly, at the house.
Yeah. 2005 flat screen TVs and HD TVs are introduced. Is it that long ago?
Yeah.
I
remember seeing HD TV for the first time.
Me too.
Pretty
Yeah.
amazing, dude.
Well, so it's like the color thing is like the 4K, which 2012 LG announced the world's first HD TV using the 4K system. I got the 4K. I got it like when it came out, but it was like they didn't have programming for it.
Yeah.
Like they're not shooting stuff in 4K.
Yeah,
I mean,
you were
now
like the
it's
first
a
guy
lot
with
more.
the color TV.
I was
Yeah.
one of the 12 people, but
Yeah.
but with the 4K, they were selling 4K TVs. It's not like these TVs were extra more. It was if you bought a new TV, it was like 4K. This is what we have, but none of the shows were on 4K. So there's only like, and then DirecTV, even that's the other thing that hurts DirecTV. DirecTV, you'd have to have a channel for 4K. So you're having to get an extra box and like pay extra for this 4K. Where then you start going, well, I can watch YouTube TV and it's just in 4K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to get a guy to come out. Like you're literally like dragging along an old system.
Mhm.
Really, is DirecTV. It's crazy, dude. I thought DirecTV would never go down. You're like, well, this is what it is. It's the best thing ever, and it's got to be at the end, right?
DirecTV?
Yeah, I mean, unless they
I
redo.
don't know.
Well, didn't they partner with AT&T?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what
So it's
happens
all-
a lot of times.
They'll adjust.
I know, but they're going to sell internet now
As
as
all part
a
of it.
cable, as watching stuff.
Yeah.
You're watching stuff on YouTube TV, and you're not. What do you? I don't.
Cord
You're not
cutting's
using-
a big thing now.
Yeah, it's like if you cut cords, DirecTV's out unless
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we sell internet.
That's
now
what-
we do internet.
They'll likely adjust to whatever's going to happen. They're not just going to like cease to exist, I wouldn't imagine. Or else they
It
don't have
seems
a
like talking about Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like,
Yeah.
well, Blockbuster will be fine. I mean, they're just. 2007, Netflix started offer streaming content to subscribers. However, it could offer about 1,000 movies and TV shows, just 1% compared to its more than 100,000 different DVD titles. That's when you would order it. I never really did Netflix that way.
No.
2010 3D television started hitting the market. Yeah, now some TVs are in 3D. We had one, and they give you glasses. You don't use it.
No.
You're just not.
It just never caught on. I think
Yeah.
for that reason. You don't want to put on a pair of glasses.
Yeah, what's
to
the
watch.
point?
Well, you could do it if you were really. It's fun and stuff. Like people still want to go out. We went to the movies. The movies opened back up here, and we went and saw Grease this past weekend. Social distance was all the stuff. Everybody was pretty spread out. It's really not full at all. I mean, it's actually great because no one's really in there,
Mhm.
and it was sold out, but no one's in there. But so we watched. They're showing some old movies: Grease, Goonies, Star Wars. It's pretty fun. It's fun to see Grease on the movie. Like
What
you
is
know,
that?
have you ever heard of Grease?
The country, yeah.
Yes. No, the movie Grease.
Uh-uh.
With John Travolta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're saying Greece.
Grease. Is that not how you
it
say
sounded like Greece, the country. I didn't catch on
No,
that
it's
it
the
was
same. The
Greece.
words sound the same. Grease,
Yeah,
like
and
elbow
grease.
grease.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
And
I've seen that
Grease.
a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oof.
I mean,
I'm
come
not
on.
doing well so
Killing
far.
me here.
Yeah, viewers are
Uh,
going down this week.
I mean, they don't, you got people rooting against you at the U.S. Open. That's,
Yeah.
but we went and watched that this weekend, and you still want to go do stuff. You still want to go to movies, and that was the problem with the 3D and all that kind of stuff. Is you don't, you're not gonna. You're like at home. You're like not everything can be at home, but I bet that changes where people don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Longest running scripted TV show with a total run of 72 years. God. 15 on the radio and 57 on TV and a staggering 18,000 episodes. The Guiding Light is the longest running drama series of all time. The creators even received a Guinness World Record for that. It was canceled by CBS in 2009. I've never heard of it,
Me either.
but no, I'm joking. I have.
What is it?
I was
It's a soap
joking.
opera.
It's funny.
Oh,
That was just funny to be like the longest show in the world. My joke was to say I've never heard of it just because it's been on for 72 years.
I'd never heard of it.
Really?
The Guiding Light.
I've heard of
Never
plenty of
either.
soap operas, but not
No,
that
I've never
one.
heard of it.
Wow. That surprises me.
Yeah, I think it
Well, it's
really
the side of the
tanked
table.
around year 50. Like the quality dropped a
It
little
did.
bit.
I mean, I never watched soap operas, but yeah, I mean, how do you cancel that show? It's just been on. Maybe the ratings are. You just go like, let's go to 100.
It's enough.
I know, but just you might as well go to 100. If you're at 72, just get to 100.
Yeah.
This
It's a
show was
lot
on
more
for
years.
100 years.
You act like it was at 98.
Yeah.
That's 20.
8.
20
I mean,
more years.
2009, we'd be at 82, and now you're. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
It's at this point they haven't heard of it.
Well, they're on their third generation of viewers at this point.
No, they kept the same actress. Go ahead.
The viewers, dude.
Oh,
All the viewers. If you started watching it,
that was
at
what killed it.
0,
Yeah.
you're dead, but it is still going on.
Yeah.
That
know?
would be funny to you do it. And it's just these real old women just in their whatever drama soap operas do. I don't know what they do. Longest running primetime TV show, The Simpsons, with 31 seasons and 684 episodes and counting. 31 seasons, man. Simpsons.
It came out in 1989, and we had video yearbooks in high school. Did you guys ever have?
No.
Did you have that?
I don't think so.
It was a new thing for
Yeah.
us where they sell you a VHS tape, and it was supposed to be like a video yearbook.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they would put historical milestones in there. And I graduated high school 30 years ago. The Simpsons is on my video yearbook as one of the top shows,
Oh, yeah.
and it had just come out.
Yeah.
And it was big for high school kids.
Yeah. I remember thinking it wouldn't last because
I wasn't allowed to watch it.
either.
because Bart Simpson cussed, and there'd never been a cartoon character who did that. And I was
And he
like,
was like defiant to his parents.
Eat my shorts. That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I thought this won't last.
My parents watch it. My sister could watch it. My parents are fine with it now, but I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Never watched it. And obviously, I've
You never
seen
watched
it.
it?
But
You
I've
watch
never,
Family Guy?
No.
You never watch any of those stuff?
I'm a big cartoon guy.
Longest running talk show, The Tonight Show, is the world's longest running talk show, having debuted in 1954. It continues to this day. Yeah, I've been on it a bunch. Out of the
They made me put that in there.
Yeah, I've done it. I don't know how many times. I've done 13 late night sets.
Yeah. Enough that you've lost count, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doing the Tonight Show, it is crazy. Like, I don't completely remember watching Carson and all that kind of stuff. Did you remember watching it?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't remember. Yeah, I've gone back and watched old stuff. I mean, they did so much fun stuff. That one, if you see the famous one, Don Rickles, because Don Rickles was filming next to Johnny Carson. And do you know Tonight Show?
Yeah.
The old Carson, Don Rickles, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to you. Like, I mean, it's not dumb. It's just like, we don't
Yeah.
know if you know any,
No, it's dumb.
It's not dumb. He might not know anything. He didn't know Grease.
I do know Grease.
Apparently
I thought
you
were
don't.
saying The Country. I thought this was like some old movie that like was a historical documentary that
It is an old movie. You think that's what I'm talking about? An old, like I'm going to watch and just be like, you watch the documentary on the country Grease? Anybody catch that last night? Grease?
Well, I've seen Grease
assuming
a lot.
I'm never watching something that's making me smarter. So it shows him like one night he guest host and he breaks his cigarette. I mean, it's so funny. He breaks his cigarette box, and then Johnny Carson sees it, and then everybody's watching. They're like, "Uh-oh." Like he's now going back. And then Don Rickles is filming next, like the studio right next to it. And so he walks over during the show and they bring the cameras over and he's like, he just walked in, Don Rickles is filming and he goes, "What happened to this?" And I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like unreal TV.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's bringing, it's just awesome. It's funny watching Grease, the country now. And now when I was watching Grease wearing masks, like it's insane.
Yeah.
You're just watching this old movie, and you're like, "Where are we at?"
yeah.
I mean, I'm watching. This is 1978 when this is made, and
Yeah.
you're just, and then you got a mat, and like, you feel like it's future? I mean, it's like a futuristic. Like you just got this big mask on, and then you're just sitting there watching this old movie.
Mhm.
Do y'all find that it affects the way you watch everything? Like it is so distracting to me when I watch stuff and I see crowds. That's all I think about. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is insane that there are this many people in the same room.
I acknowledge, I do realize that, and
Yeah.
then I can move on pretty quickly. I don't get hung up on it. like some people. Uh, you get hung up like the whole show. You can't.
No,
We were talking about The Last
I'm
Dance.
just thinking about it.
We watched The Last Dance and all
Yeah.
those crowds,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you think about it now.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I think
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're just saying you have the mental discipline to just put that thought aside
Yeah.
and
He's
move
very
on.
Look, I don't. Yeah, I mean, look, I can go down some thoughts. I mean, it can be a train wreck, but I don't. I realize I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like they're, I think that's gonna be like showing smoking in a movie.
Yeah.
Eventually, just every,
Mm-hmm.
longest running talk show, Tonight Show. I've been on it multiple times. Just wanted to make sure we didn't skip over that. What does jumping the shark mean? Jump the shark. Do you know jumping the shark?
I do now. Yeah.
You read it?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Had you heard that term?
Never.
Yeah.
Had you heard?
I heard the term for a long time before I knew what it meant. But yeah, I know.
Jumping the shark is a phrase used to describe a moment when a TV show that once was widely popular.
Did you say
But
popular?
Popular. But
Okay.
has since grown less popular, makes a desperate attempt at generating publicity by doing something outrageous. The phrase derives from an episode of Happy Days in which Fonzie jumps over a shark while on water skis. So in the episode, they literally, Fonzie jumps over a shark because they're trying to be,
Trying to gain more.
I mean, I literally remember this
yeah.
when it happened. The
Yeah.
show had peaked,
Yeah.
and they're getting desperate. And there's so many sitcoms in the 70s and 80s like this. I feel like TV shows are better now about getting off. But back then, they would just ride them out. And they had so many crazy storylines. But there was the storyline was they go to, I think, Hawaii. And the whole gang goes there for some vacation for some reason.
Mhm.
And then somehow Fonzie gets challenged and he has to jump a shark on water skis. And they're all like, Fonzie, don't do it. It's so dangerous. But it was just.
And he jumped over a like real shark?
in the story.
In the story, it's a real shark?
Off
Yeah.
a ramp, right? A ramp in the
Yeah,
water.
a ramp. And
Yeah. Did it register to you at the time as this is a ridiculous moment of television?
No, because I was so small, I thought it was really, really cool. But
Yeah. It is pretty cool. But my understanding is always it's a show that's just was once grounded in reality, and then it just becomes a parody of itself, right?
Yeah.
It's just like
because
this.
they're trying
this
so
is
hard for
absurd
relevance.
now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's crazy to be. They call it jump. I mean, they are. What is it? Jump the shark. Just to. I mean, that's a
Anything
phrase.
now, yeah.
Now anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Memorable TV moments. That is one of them. Some other ones. Let's see. Who Shot JR? Do you remember that?
I do.
I remember that. I remember my parents talking about it. I wasn't watching it, but I remember it was a big deal. Have you ever heard of Who Shot JR? Dallas?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like crazy. Like, what TV moments? Do you remember a TV moment, a TV show that you had to be home to watch in real time? Have you had one?
Because you've always had DVRs.
Like, I mean, think about,
No.
like, so Us was Sopranos finale.
Yeah.
Which Breaking Bad finale. Breaking Bad finale. I went to someone's house. I was in Cincinnati at a comedy club, and I just went to some guy's house to watch it that night. I don't remember the guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was like one of the servers was like, "I'm going to my buddy's house to watch it." That guy didn't even really know like that I was coming. I just come over and just watch it. I wanted to watch it so bad
Yeah.
because I wasn't going to get home for like 2 more days. And I was like, I'm going to find out what happens. And I didn't want to find out what happens. And so I went and watched it at someone's house.
Yeah.
But do you have any?
The only thing I can think of for like in terms of when I was younger would have to be American Idol.
Yeah. Reality show.
Yeah, I watched that like my family and my sisters and my parents, but not we would all watch it like together.
Yeah.
Whatever night it came on.
Yeah,
that
so
was when
you-
I was younger. Not
Yeah.
Forget
so
how
much in
big
high
that
school.
show was. I mean, that
Oh.
was the
Yeah, it
biggest
was
show on
big.
TV for like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it did real
But
good.
you don't remember, there's no, yeah, I mean, did you watch Breaking Bad?
On Netflix.
Yeah.
I actually didn't watch Breaking Bad until like sophomore year of college 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's not, did you have anything that you remember?
Mad Men and Breaking Bad, I watched live.
Live. Yeah.
But I jumped in later. Like I caught up on Netflix and then I caught up to where they were.
Yeah, I did that with Breaking Bad. I didn't start at the beginning, and then I watched like I want to say maybe the last season or two live.
Live, yeah.
I watched last year I had caught up all the way to on Blacklist. I love
Yeah.
Blacklist, and so I watched that on TV for like probably 6 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And then also Prison Break.
Yeah, it's fun to watch stuff as it airs. I mean, it's something that's doing something together as a group is a great thing. And everything is so just on everything's very individualized right now.
Yeah, I mean, besides sporting events, and there's not that many live events that we all experience.
What's your first golf moment you remember?
Tiger.
Which year?
2005. Yeah, I don't know why I just said the name.
Honestly.
Need a year.
The points made.
When he won the
Is that where he won by like
Masters.
10 strokes?
No.
Or
No, that was 98. So
Okay.
in 2005, that was when he had that chip in over the back of the green on 16 against Chris DeMarco. But my earliest sports memory, I think, was the Red Sox coming back from 3-0 against the Yankees in 2004.
Yeah. I remember that. That's when they won the
How
first
old were
one.
you?
I was 7. No, I would have been 8.
Okay.
Yeah. The bloody sock.
Yeah, that was yeah. But Kurt
I
Schilling.
remember that.
Is that his-
Like
Kurt
it just
Schilling?
happened.
I think so. It's Kurt Schilling. Yeah.
But that was like part of the reason
I really do.
I became like a Red Sox fan because like
What did you say, bro?
I feel like that just happened. I mean, I've been through so many things when that happened. Life had just beat me down by the time that was going on. I didn't even register.
I mean, just
Wow.
it's very fun to talk to just a young person. Just to be like, I think my first memory and TV, and just to be this thing. You're like, dude, I went to the game, like like, and you just know. I remember the Tiger. We're watching that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my first sports. I remember a Miami, Alabama championship game, maybe
92.
92. I remember that. I remember like Greg Louganis. I remember him hitting his head on the diving board for sports. First NASCAR race I ever watched the whole thing through was the race Dale Earnhardt died.
Oh wow.
That was your first.
That was the
You
first
got to
one.
stop watching after
Yeah,
that.
I tuned in. I was like, someone dies every time I watch this.
This
All
is
of it.
amazing.
That's what Aaron was thinking.
Yeah,
just
that was
died.
the first one. Some big moments. I'd be curious to see who remembers what. Some of our listeners. Jack Ruby kills Lee Harvey. Obviously Bates. What was that? Was that crazy when you saw that on TV? Did
That
you see
happened.
it coming?
That's one of the few on this list I did not remember seeing, but that happened live. That's crazy.
Live. Can you imagine that?
I did not know that
Yeah.
happened live.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the pictures or whatever, but I've never knew. It
Yeah.
happened
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's imagine he just killed him on TV. I mean, now you see people get shot on TV, but I mean, can you
Really?
imagine?
And he was actually
At
dying
that
this
time?
time. He wasn't pretending like
No.
the other shows.
Yeah.
live. Like, man, he gave it his all.
Walter Cronkite announcing President Kennedy's death. Did you take that hard, Brian?
Boy, we're going to really wear this in the ground. aren't
Charles and Diana royal wedding. I don't remember that, but Princess Di's funeral. Princess Di funeral was my first big news thing that I remember. I remember when Princess Di died. It was actually 97. I graduated or 98. When I graduated high school, I was maybe just right out of high school.
Yeah.
And I
First
remember I
year
was
at Ball
over at my
State.
friend's house.
so you don't remember like the Oklahoma City bombing?
I do. That was 93, right?
I think that was 95.
Yes, I do remember that. But Princess Di, was. I don't know.
It hit you harder.
Yeah, that affected me more. 95. I mean, leaving you're there. I'm talking about. I'm 14. You know, you getting that. Like, there's a difference between her 15 and then being like 18. You know, like I think I just take it. I take stuff in. I don't remember the space shuttle Challenger explosion.
That's my first like news event. Remember when it happened?
I was 6, I think. 85, right?
I think it was 86.
I was 5 or 6. So and most people they remember they pulled everybody out of class, like the shuttle exploded, but I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Maybe they did. We were so young that
Most of my friends that in Middle Tennessee, we all had a similar experience. We were out for a snow day,
yeah.
and I was at my aunt and uncle's house playing with my cousin, and my aunt called me and said, "Come in here," and it just happened.
And see this. I you know, we're talking about like the Oklahoma City bombing. The thing is too, so when you're that young, you're not watching the news.
Yeah.
And so unless my parents are showing me the news, like There's no social media. So I'm playing and no one's talking about it. And that's Princess Di was it was at night. It was
middle
kind
of
of
the
late,
night.
middle of the night. And that's what happened. My mom watches all that royal wedding stuff. Every one of it. The MASH finale, do you remember that?
I do.
I never watched one episode of MASH.
I didn't watch it either. It's a very adult comedy.
Yeah.
My dad likes it.
Yeah.
Even the finale was very dark.
Yeah. I have no idea what the finale was.
Yeah.
OJ Simpson chase. Would you remember that? When was that?
94.
Oh no.
I wasn't even born.
John, do you remember it? John, go.
You don't remember that, Nate?
I do. I do remember it.
Okay.
I remember watching, but again, I don't think I was, I'm 13, like I'm doing my own thing. That was like the first years of Michael Jordan where, I remember Jordan more 95, 96 thing.
What year were you born?
79.
So you'd have been 15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, but that I just don't think I'm in my own world at
clearly.
15
Uh-huh.
And 41.
and 41.
Yeah.
A big one. Tom Cruise jumps on Oprah's couch.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Why was that a big deal?
It was just he was very.
He was the most famous person in the world
Yeah.
at this point, and he just did something so crazy on national television. He was talking about how in love he was with his wife, and he jumped on top of a couch, and it was just this insanely famous person being crazy. Everyone was
Yeah.
like, "What is going on?"
I thought he was having like a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird phase of his life. The Wire one, you kind of
Yeah.
skipped it.
Well, I didn't. If that was like if someone hasn't watched The Wire.
But isn't there a...
Yeah. There's Omar's death on The Wire.
Your friend told me that while I was watching it.
Really?
Yeah. We were... I was in the middle of watching it, and we were at Zany's one night after a show, and it was your buddy. And he was like... We were talking about Love and Wire, and he's like, man, when Omar died, and that kid killed him. And I was like, I hadn't got there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were standing there, but
Yeah.
it was like, okay.
Planes hitting the World Trade Centers. Obviously, that I remember extremely well.
What's weird is I don't remember that at all. Like I feel like
Well,
I should.
2001. No,
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah.
2001. So
So
you
shouldn't.
would, yeah. You
But
should.
there's some people, maybe they just claim they know it, but like I've heard people my age be like, yeah, I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember it at all.
I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of times you think you remember it and you've just seen it so much
Yeah.
that
Right.
it just
You make
seeps in
yourself
that you
think
kind of
it.
go like, no, I remember it, and you're like, you don't really.
Yeah.
I would. I mean, 9/11. I was I was recycling tires. It's crazy. That's why I don't do. I told my wife that I don't manual labor. Like I'm done. I've done it all. I've cut grass my whole life. I've recycled tires out of caves. I mean, it was, dude, mosquitoes lay their eggs because water sits in the bottom of a tire and mosquitoes lay their eggs. So every single tire is just, the job was on dirty jobs.
Really?
Yeah.
The job that you did?
I did the job that was on dirty jobs.
Wow.
One of them dumped all these tires in a cave. And because this was during the Ford recall where they took all the tires. Ford Explorers all had their tires taken. And so when you recycle tires, you'd work for a company, they pay you to pick them up, but then you have to pay to get them recycled. And we would drive trucks, and this one guy took the money to get him pick them up, and then he would just go dump them in a cave. He wasn't going to spend the money recycling. That guy, and he got caught fraud, but we had to go get those tires out of that cave. And I mean, we just had to back our trucks back into this cave, and then you would always like bounce it off your chest and then roll it and then they would stack them. And I mean, you can stack a lot of tires in a box truck because you're crisscrossing, and so you're just sitting there like just bouncing off your chest and rolling them in there.
Wow.
I mean, it's the most just dumb person job, just like, can you bounce them off your chest and send them to the back of that truck? I can do that. Like, it's just, there's no big words being thrown around there. Any of these other, we're going to get through some of these. Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction.
I remember that.
You know that Super Bowl?
Oh,
Justin Timberlake.
yes.
Hugh Grant on Jay Leno after prostitution bust. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
because that was like an interview.
That really helped Jay Leno in the ratings, I think. I feel like I've heard that kind of helped him jump past Letterman.
Yeah. Moon landing.
No. Don't remember that one.
Brian, I'm gonna let you take away here. Moon landing. Newhart finale where he wakes up from a dream.
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't think I was allowed to watch these shows as much, and that's but Bob Newhart, that was an amazing ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was very
creative,
mm-hmm. And it went into his other show.
Yeah, do you guys know this?
Do you know who Bob Newhart is?
Mm-mm. No, I was just kind of agreeing.
Did he have? Correct me if I'm wrong. He had a show, and then at the end, he wakes up, and the whole show had been a dream.
Okay. But more than that, he had a show previously that was pretty successful on TV, with obviously a different TV wife. So when he wakes up from his dream, he looks over at his wife, and it's the other wife from the first show.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty creative.
Yeah. And he goes, I just had this crazy dream. That's how they ended the second show.
So the second show was a dream
2 mega
that
hits.
the character in the first show had the whole time?
Well, that's the funny play they put on it, the finale.
I'm saying that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Newhart had a pretty good career.
Yeah.
Like just 2 mega shows.
He's from
on the
Elf.
Radio.
He's Will Ferrell's dad. In
Elf.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who that guy is.
Talk to him and
that's how I first knew him. The guy from Elf.
All right.
I remember most of this.
How are ratings calculated? I've always wondered this. You can do this part.
All right. So, you can. Let me just read it. Nielsen ratings are calculated based on a sample of 40,000 homes and about 100,000 people that demographically represent the population as a whole. It's a small fraction of the 120 million or so homes with TV, but also a lot more than a typical political poll that surveys just a couple thousand people.
So the Nielsen ratings, they're saying that they're taking shots at the political poll. Like that's
this article did.
So they're basically saying we're in more homes, we're going to get more accurate readings.
Yeah, Nielsen's kind of like the standard rating system. I think there are some other ones.
Did you have a Nielsen box?
I never did. I couldn't for almost 20 years because I worked at a TV station, so it wasn't allowed.
Oh, okay.
Or my family wasn't allowed either because that was,
biased.
Yeah. But I certainly have known of people that have had it.
Yeah. I don't know if I've known anybody that had a Nielsen box. They're still there now. But now they're calculating ratings by so many other places, so many other things.
Yeah.
How are DVRs factored into ratings? Yeah, I've always wondered that.
So basically, Nielsen uses a Live Plus service where, according to this, it tracks 3 major categories: Live plus same day, Live plus 3, and Live plus 7. So if there was a big TV finale and the next day they had the ratings, that probably wouldn't be super accurate because they haven't factored in DVRs yet.
Yeah.
Football game, sporting events is probably accurate because most people watch that live. Not many people DVR in a football game to watch a week later.
Right.
But there is some delay now because so many people watch shows on DVRs.
Yeah, I mean, with streaming, the stream ratings are, like it says there, they're not really a thing. Like my Netflix, I've never known how good it does. My Netflix special. Never been told, never been. They're coming up with systems now that they're trying to find, because Netflix never gives out those numbers. Netflix knows.
That's next on the list.
Yeah. Netflix knows down to, that's what made me do it. Nelson, with streaming services, streaming ratings are not really a thing. Nielsen measures the audience for streaming shows, but Netflix and other platforms have disputed the ratings service numbers as they don't count viewing on other devices. Netflix considers a piece of content as having been viewed when a member watches at least 70% of one episode of a series or 70% of a feature film. It also counts subscribers around the world rather than just the domestic viewers that Nielsen measures. The numbers can be useful in comparing one Netflix show to another, but the service has thus far only publicly released highlights, not a full tally. So they've never really shown anything. They, besides like Bird Box or something, they would say. And then for my special, I mean, the only thing they ever told us once, they go, they were like, we're very happy. And that's what that's all they would say.
Yeah.
And now you can tell, the only way I can tell is by you sell more tickets. People are coming to some of these shows, and that's how the gauge I can get, or if I get recognized more when I'm out. There's the only way I can really know like how good this Netflix.
And they probably have so much data, more than anybody else, right?
They could narrow it down to.
They could tell you what's your worst joke of your special, just how many people X out during that joke, right?
Well, I think I could do
Jesus,
that.
I don't know if you're taking shots. I mean,
Oh,
he's
no, I'm
Xing
just
out
saying,
because of one joke.
That's his
He goes,
favorite
done,
joke.
hated that joke, X out, start back. When you saying fast forward? And
You can see that too. They can see
They
it
can
all.
see that.
I'm saying they probably know more about your act than you do.
Yeah. It's funny to get because these ratings are such a you just wish you would know. But they did that with Stranger Things. So with Stranger Things, those kids, when they first tried to get money for the second season, the agents were like, "We want a ton of money," and they were like, the show didn't do that good." They're like, "Yeah, well, these kids can't walk outside.
Yeah.
They're getting mobbed." So it did pretty good,
Yeah.
and that was all they could. But they're doing that so they can't, gauge off that. I also heard how Netflix, when they first made their shows, how they made their shows so good, where they would just take like they could look at Netflix when they made a show and they're like, all right, what actor does everybody like the most? At this time was like Kevin Spacey, which obviously not now, but whenever it was. And then they go, and who's the best director that everybody seems like the most? I forget who the director was. And then they did House of Cards. And whoever did that. So they just were like, what movies do the best? Oh, everybody likes Kevin Spacey. We'll get him. Director, everybody seems to like that guy. We'll get him.
It's like
Y'all
building a
go make
fantasy
something.
team, dude.
Yeah. And you can
Yeah.
just go look through it all.
It's pretty cool.
Top rated TV shows in the last 30 years. Cheers, 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes always just does good. Seinfeld, 94, 95. ER made a big run. I remember my mom loved ER. ER was big. ER was on a long time, 95 to 99. Seinfeld back to 97, 98. Funny, Seinfeld, for how big that show was, it was only rated twice. I mean, you would think Seinfeld got way more respect afterwards.
Yeah.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Survivor, Friends, 01 to 02. Friends was in 2001. I thought it was already done.
That was the tail end of it, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I think it ended in 03 or 04.
CSI 02 to 05. So a fun CSI story that I've heard. And again, this all could be fake. But so CSI, when they were on, are they on CBS, right?
CBS, yeah.
So I think ABC had them first. So ABC had CSI. Do you know CSI?
Yeah.
Yeah. ABC had CSI when they made the show. So they made the pilot, and ABC was like, ABC Studios and ABC Network had it. They made the pilot, and then ABC was like, we don't want it. And then CBS was like, well, we're taking it. And usually, like if you watch Modern Family is 20th Century Fox, but it's on ABC. So the studio is, now that they try to keep that stuff kind of together, like CBS Studio is on CBS. But it doesn't always. Universal is NBC, but sometimes they can have shows on Fox. Because when you do, you make a show with a studio, and then you take it out with the studio to the networks. You try to get the networks to buy it. And so if your first one is to try to stay in the family, and if it doesn't work, you can then go other places. So CSI, they make an ABC. ABC's like, we don't want it. So then CBS is like, we'll take it. And then they're like, the show's not going to be anything. And they go, we're so confident that we're also we won't even keep it as the studio. So CBS can have it as the studio, which they usually do. And it becomes the biggest show in the world. And they lost billions of dollars. And it was, a huge mistake that they did that. And then they started making all those other shows, NCIS, all these spinoffs.
Yeah.
And it was because of that happened, they're now starting to, but for a long time, everybody was like, when the show was done, it was like, you can't go anywhere else. And then no one was just giving up. The studios weren't just giving that stuff up, because you would have at least got some of that instead of you get none. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
American Idol, 05 to basically 2011, just straight
Why
up.
didn't you just put 05 to 11?
Well, I think it just got. I think Laura shortened it maybe, because I had every year just American Idol, and I think maybe she shortened it.
He's doing the best he can.
I mean, you're asking John if he knows a show that's on right now. So
What was
CSI.
that?
Well,
CSI,
you
yeah.
just have you watched CSI?
No, I've seen it.
Sunday Night Football,
Heard of it.
NCIS, Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory, 16 to 18. I mean, to have a show be a sitcom be ranked that high
Mhm.
is just now because it's just not happening.
I found interesting. I mean, the Emmy Awards, the Golden Globes, it's usually all won by either streaming shows now or paper or like HBO, Showtime. All the top rated shows though are still on networks:
Mhm.
Yeah.
ABC, NBC, CBS,
Interesting.
Right.
or Fox.
Highest rated TV episodes of all time: MASH, The Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen.
That's crazy.
Rating 60.2, share 77. And you know what that stuff means.
Yeah, from what I remember in my TV days, a rating is the total number of TVs that are showing the episode. Share is the total number of TVs that are on that are watching that episode. Does that make sense? Like if you have
So the MASH finale, 70% of all TVs that
77
were turned on to the MASH finale.
yeah, 77% of all TVs are turned on.
Got
We're
it.
watching that. And 60% of all TVs, period, were watching the MASH
Wow.
finale.
Wow.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
So that had to be how many people? Yeah.
So
100 million or
yeah, basically, I think I saw last time it was 106 million TVs at that time. No, it was more than that. I think over 100 million people watched the MASH finale.
that's crazy.
Crazy.
It's
yeah.
crazy. Somebody like Super Bowl and all that stuff. That
Super Bowls now get around 100 million viewers, but that was
but it's still not as high as this.
Super Bowls get more viewers now,
Yeah.
total number of people, but actual ratings, percentage wise, MASH still holds the record.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many more people now in
Yeah.
the United States than there was in 1983.
Right.
Dallas is number 2. Roots, number 3.
Yep.
I don't know the Roots. What was?
Roots was a miniseries.
Yeah.
It's O.J.
Okay.
Simpson. Right?
What?
He was in Roots.
Oh, OJ was in Roots.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Come on, dude.
Winter Olympics.
Well, he wasn't like the star of it.
No, he wasn't Kunta Kinte, but he was.
Yeah,
he
okay.
was-
Super Bowls, all that. Money Night at the Movies, Gone with the Wind, Part 2 was a big one. Just kind of going through them quick. So, what we wanted to do is we're going to go through some of these to talk about our favorite shows and our favorite stuff. You know, like what are your parents' favorite? My parents' favorite TV show was. I mean, it was Andy Griffith. It's probably Seinfeld now, but they loved Big Bang Theory. Everybody they've loved a bunch. But Andy Griffith, I think, was what I remember. That was I mean, Andy Griffith is one of my favorite shows ever. Super funny show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
remember?
that was big in our house.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, from
I mean, I hope it's gonna be something. Ed Sullivan show.
no, but it's I mean, the Friday night block was big for me and my family on CBS
Yeah.
because
On where?
on CBS. I can tell you any show in the 80s, I can tell you what network it was on
Yeah.
because I only had 3 channels. I didn't have cable
Yeah.
till I got to college. So,
So George Costanza spelling everybody's name.
yeah, yeah, that's my thing. So, The Incredible Hulk came on Friday nights from 7 to 8. I was big into that. Then The Dukes of Hazzard from 8 to 9
Yeah.
followed it. And me and my dad love
Yeah.
that. And then Dallas came on from 9 to 10, and my mom loved that.
Yeah.
So I'd say Dallas is
Yeah.
probably the show that my parents
Yeah.
That's a powerful block.
That's a
right
hell of a
there.
Yeah.
Those are
yeah.
3
classics.
big shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, the first historic news events, you talked about that. What's the first show you remember watching regularly?
For me, it was Law and Order SVU. Because USA, I don't know if they still do this. They used to just show Law and Order for like all day, it felt like. So we used to just sit and watch that. That's a little much as a kid to watch
Yeah.
a bunch of episodes up. Gets pretty dark on there, but we'd watch that.
What about you? Seinfeld?
Yeah, I mean, it might be Seinfeld. It could be, like if I'm really dating back, it could be like a Disney Channel maybe or a Nickelodeon type thing.
Yeah.
But probably
Yeah, maybe it would be a
Seinfeld.
Disney. We watched. I had Nickelodeon. I don't remember watching Disney growing up.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Andy Griffith. That was the big one that we were allowed to watch. What? Saturday morning cartoons were big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not counting like
Tom and Jerry.
Mr.
Oh yeah,
Rogers
Tom and
or
Jerry was
yeah.
classic.
Captain
Yeah.
Kangaroo
Very
or something
good.
like that. I mean, if you're talking about prime, for me, it'd probably still be Dukes of Hazzard, like that I watched every week.
Yeah, that you remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember watching Dukes of Hazzard. Favorite TV. Well, I'm trying to go through. Let's just get into the final. What are your? I mean, do you have a favorite reality show? Did you watch any of them?
I don't like reality shows, but I'd have to say Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hard
Oh,
Knocks
yeah,
is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I forgot about that.
I like
one.
Hard Knocks.
It's more like a documentary than a
Yeah.
reality. I guess that's what they want you to think reality shows are. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, then if that doesn't count, Last Comic
no,
Standing.
it counts. I'm just Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last Comic Standing.
I'm watching 90 Day Fiance now. It's
Yeah,
a pretty
boy.
good time.
Yeah, it seems like everybody likes that. I've heard a
Yeah.
lot about it. I don't know what it
It's
is.
it can get sad real quick,
Mhm.
but if you push past that,
It's
if
great.
you compartmentalize
Yeah.
that sadness,
Yeah.
it's good time.
What's your top favorite drama? Mine is Breaking Bad. I think Breaking Bad's the best. I think it's the best show I've ever seen. I've watched it. I've went through it multiple times. I loved Sopranos, but there was parts of the Sopranos that even being the Sopranos I'm saying is at the top. The Wire too, by the way. I'm trying to go back to it. I'm not a giant Wire fan. I think
Really?
it's very slow and I don't know. I don't think you ever watch a TV show you can watch in just a weird time and you're like, I'm not giving this show it's probably fair shake.
Yeah.
And I kind of went through The Wire and I just think I don't know, I wasn't into it. But Breaking Bad, Sopranos, the therapist stuff, it's like you can kind of tell when you go back and rewatch something how much are you fast forwarding?
Right.
Are you really in Sopranos? When you really truthfully go back and I watch it, I'm fast forwarding a bit.
Really?
I mean, the therapist stuff, some white, like you're kind of getting to the mob stuff is what you want to go see. When you get to go back and watch it, I think Sopranos is amazing. Unbelievable show. But I'm just saying,
You're not doing
I
that
can
with
tell.
Breaking Bad? You don't skip episodes?
not much. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe some stuff with it's like nothing. I don't care. It's like the family.
Hank's wife
Yeah.
shoplifting.
The Fly
Yes.
episode?
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
any of stuff with with Hank's wife.
When
Yeah,
she
when she goes shoplifting. Heard that whole storyline I don't care about. And so I'm fast forwarding kind of stuff. But I mean when she goes into those houses and like makes stuff up, that's kind of interesting.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean there's not a ton of stuff. We talked about I think Better Call Saul is amazing.
Better Call Saul's
And
great.
it can run up there. I don't think it's better than Breaking Bad. I think Breaking Bad's the best show that's ever been made as far as drama.
Okay.
I love Breaking Bad, but I also love Blacklist. I really like Blacklist.
Yeah,
It's kept
my
me-
dad likes Blacklist.
It's kept me coming back because I think like the character Raymond Reddington is flawless. It's phenomenal.
That's James Spader, right? The
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
dude?
I remember when it came out. It was on NBC, right? And then and I remember I needed to watch it again. I never really watched.
I didn't care for that hat he wears.
Yeah.
That made me
Really?
not watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth getting over the hat?
A
Doesn't he
lot
wear-
a lot of people say the same thing about you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
that's very
wearing-
funny. You have that hat on.
He's a grown man wearing a Jason Mraz fedora.
I don't
going around
understand.
solving
You're a
crimes.
grown man wearing a flowered Notre Dame. Like what? I have no idea what. I mean,
What are
you're.
you talking about?
I think it's worth watching. I mean, it can be a little like there's just so much that goes on like later in the seasons. Like you start. There's a lot of like cliffhangers at the ends of episodes.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
so-
Is it on somewhere?
Yeah, it's still on TV. It's on
Okay.
Netflix though.
That's what I meant. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's such a different way to say it right there. Because you know what? Is it on somewhere? That was never. When I
Yeah.
was a kid, I was like, "What are you
Is
talking
it available somewhere easy for me to watch? it?
what's
You know?
what's y'all's favorite drama?
Mine's The West Wing.
Yeah,
I love The West
Oh, I
Wing.
love The West Wing.
Who
Yeah.
watches it?
Aaron
Watches it as he
Sorkin
drives.
was kicked off his own show after season 4. So show really tanks in quality after that. But those first 4 seasons, it was like the most decorated TV show ever. It won everything, dude.
I've
West
never
Wing's
watched
awesome.
it.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It is a high effort show to watch though.
Yeah.
You can't be on your phone. You gotta
have to be
You
watching.
drive and
You
watch
drive and watch it.
Well, I drive and listen to it,
Yeah.
and it's like my 15th time listening to
Yeah.
it, so I know what's happening.
Yeah, so you don't but you got to like really pay attention.
Martin
Yeah.
Sheen's great in that.
Yeah.
Martin Sheen, so good.
Phenomenal.
Brian's good friends with him.
Really?
Yeah,
Why are you saying that?
they have a picture together.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
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 It's 20 years ago.
Yeah. What's your
You've
favorite
lost all my
drama?
hair.
I mean, I think you've already named the Sopranos, Breaking
Yeah.
Bad, The Wire.
Yeah.
You know what's frustrating? You have a show that you really like, and you just don't know anybody else that watches it,
Mm-hmm.
and you try to get people to get into it, and you just can't.
Breaking Bad was
90
like
Day
that for me.
Fiancé?
That was Breaking Bad was it took a long time for me
Yeah.
to everybody keeps talking about it and you're like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Think about Breaking Bad. I mean, I always think that when someone sells a TV show now, when you try to do that kind of thing, you can look at like any network. You could be like, you could go to any network because AMC was not a network that was desired to go to. And then Breaking Bad went there, and it's now this. It's like, it's a bit. It's harder to get on it. Basically, like their quality is pretty high,
Yeah,
so you can't just get stuff on, which is pretty interesting. I mean, then what is The Walking Dead? Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Mad Men was on there too.
I mean, crazy, dude.
Those are
They were
3
nothing.
enormous shows.
Enormous shows.
Yeah.
And the AMC would show old movies.
They're still feeding off that Walking Dead stuff.
Are there spinoffs or is the
Yeah, it's like now it's called like the Fear of the Walking Dead or something like that.
wow.
It's nuts. It's still going on.
I
saw
never-
like
I
a
watched
commercial for it
one-
the other day.
I think I watched the first season. I just don't care
Yeah,
about zombies.
right.
And so I didn't watch it.
Yeah,
That Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
that
one
Game
of
of
the-
Thrones you didn't care about.
yeah. I don't care about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I watched the first 4 episodes and it was really slow and I lost interest.
I did too.
But
I
one of
just-
the shows like you're saying that nobody watches that I really like is called Peaky Blinders. It's on Netflix. It is pretty dark, a lot of killing. But I love it. I think it's
British, right? Aren't they British?
yeah. It's the guy. What's the main actor?
Is it
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I thought it was Gillian
that
Gillian
him?
Murphy.
Yeah, no,
It's
That
not.
might-
It's not him.
no.
He's a scarecrow in Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, that he
Yeah.
looks a little bit like Benedict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Just
You
saving
can't just let
face
it go.
here.
All
You're
these British guys look the same.
Yeah. No, I think they're
I
friends.
think they're the same agent. I think.
Yeah. I watched I think the first season of that show too, and I just but again that's one that I think I would like, but then
Yeah.
I get caught and it's and it's foreign, and then you're like, I'm joking. Like, I wonder how many people don't watch something truly, no matter what country you're from. If the people are not talking like you, you're like, I can't do this. Do you think a lot of people?
No.
Yes.
It's annoyed
You're
me
crazy.
sometimes. I'm like,
I'm saying
do I want to read the subtitles?
if
of this
someone's
whole
from
show?
someone's
Oh.
They're
from
speaking
England,
English.
Yeah, they're speaking
know, but-
English.
I know,
it-
but if someone's from England, I mean, I bet there's times where they're like, I can't
yeah, I don't want to
listen
watch
to this
Swamp
American-
People and listen
Yeah.
to these. Yeah.
and listen to these
All
Americans
right.
talk the whole time. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying there's times where you could be like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
maybe.
not.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe you guys are better
You know
than
what?
me.
I've tried watching Fleabag,
Yeah.
which is in that like the top
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
right now, and just couldn't get into it. And some of it was because of the accents.
I mean, you really all went off on me, and then we've all now listed examples, recent examples. Not even you're going, well, you know what, my uncle. So let's just do these top 3, our 2 favorite comedies in that we like are The Office and Seinfeld. We're all huge fans of them. Which I found out too. My buddy Greg Garcia, he created My Name Is Earl, the guest book Miller's, Raising Hope, Yes Dear, unbelievable. Created all this stuff. Unbelievably funny guy, and he told me why because they always say The Office. This is the people that were saying the 40-year-old virgin. The Office did so good because the 40-year-old virgin. Apparently, but Greg Daniels has said is a big part of it was the lead-in for them that second season was My Name Is Earl. And My Name Is Earl, it was doing great. And so that lead-in was the gigantic help it wasn't that like people are like, oh, that's the guy from the movie. Let's go watch his show. I think lead-ins really matter in TV. That's a huge, huge help. If any show that's getting a lot of viewers, if they want them to do good, they throw another show behind it because you're going to get people that will hang on and be like, all right, well, what's this about?
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's all your answers to the 4-Year-Old Virgin.
Well, they had a big.
Guess we can wrap it up.
They followed the Super Bowl one year.
Yeah.
The Office, and that was huge because
Yeah.
it's the single highest
Yeah.
viewed thing ever.
Yep.
So top 3 episodes of The Office. Go ahead. You want to?
All right. And I'll quickly explain each one. Booze Cruise. It's an early one.
Mhm.
I just really like it because it's very funny. That's when Roy and Pam get engaged. Jim's very upset. He breaks up with Amy Adams' character. Michael tells everyone the ship is sinking and gets tied to the ship rails. But I love the ending because I love the episodes where Michael, who's dumb, but he has a big heart, and he ends up saying something that kind of helps. And Jim goes out there. Jim's all down because Pam's engaged. And Michael says something that encourages him to don't give up and keep trying. It's a very sweet scene, I think.
Mhm.
And I just always liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I'll go quicker. Business School, which I know we both like that. You can talk about that a little bit. And Dinner Party, which is a lot of people's favorites, but I love it. It's so funny.
Yeah. Are y'all's different? Or
One's the same for me. Business School, I think his presentation to the class was so funny when he's throwing the candy bars at him. And then there's also that emotional moment at the end where he and Pam, he shows up at Pam's
It's
art
my
show.
favorite moment of the whole show.
When he shows up. And,
Is that.
And then he rips the guy's textbook. Like,
Yeah.
You're not
Yes.
gonna find anything
Yeah.
My favorite moment of the entire series is that. What's your other two?
My other one's Stress Relief.
Mhm.
I think it's part 2
Yes.
where he hosts a roast
Oh,
in the warehouse.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But that's part of what's The Office is so good. It's so funny, but those emotional moments, they hit like they work for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't prepare very well for this one.
Clearly.
But Business School for sure was one of mine. I know we're all saying that, but I did write it down, so it's true.
There you go.
And then I did Survivor Man when he goes out into the
Survivor Man's
wild and is like cutting his, Dwight's like watching him the whole time. And then the merger is what I put down because the only thing I put the merger down for is because I really like at the beginning when he gathers them all in the conference.
That was my
room.
fourth one.
Oh, so I did pretty good.
Yeah.
And he gathers everyone in the conference room and just makes it.
When he pushes Tony,
he tries to get the
up on
fat
that
guy
table.
on
Yeah.
it, dude.
Oh my gosh.
There, Survivor Man, one of the hardest I've ever laughed on The Office was when he cuts his pants and he cuts his shirt off because it's gonna be hot, and then they just turn to they're all duct taped back on because he goes, "It got a little more chillier than I thought." That's one of the hardest I've laughed on a show, just because it was so. It was, I don't know, it was just so crazy. The Office was one of the first, maybe not, one of the first sitcoms for me to watch every week on TV, because I'm 41 now. It's been out for a long time. But, when you're in your 20s, I'm doing comedy every night. I wasn't watching TV. Mm-hmm. And The Office was one of the first, I was a little more in comedy. I'm not, I would get home and I would watch it every night. And maybe I DVR'd that and Dirty Rock. DVR was there. I could go see it. So it wasn't, I was busy. The Office was one of the first ones that I was like, oh, we're watching this.
Yeah. I love the British version so much of The Office. Yeah. That when the American first started, it took me a little time to get used to the characters because I love the other characters so much. But then it became great itself.
Yeah. So when you talk minor, and it's true, I had another one too is when Dwight sets everything on fire. When he sets the whole.
I thought about that one. Yeah. That's the one that aired after the Super Bowl.
That's right. That's right.
It's one of the best when he goes, but today's smoking is going to save lives. And then, and he just sets it. I mean, he was just shouting direction as everybody's losing their mind.
The fire is shooting at us.
You save Bandit, right? Just throws the cat into
I mean, unbelievable episode. And then, I was going to say, The Job, when he goes, because the Jim and Pam moments are enormous. Mm-hmm. And so when he goes and takes that job, when he opens that door and she's doing that interview, and then he knocks on it and says, like, hey, are you free for
Free for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a date.
Yeah.
That's I can watch that. I've watched that episode a few
Right.
times for that moment. Just because it was so good about them getting together.
Right.
You wanted them together so bad. And I thought they did pretty good keeping it up to that moment.
I think a good part
Like,
of that episode.
It was
though,
earned, dude.
Yeah.
Very
It
earned.
felt that
You
way,
were
yeah.
excited for their wedding. Then they had a kid. And then I mean it was great. And that seeing that moment. So the job, I would say the fire thing, whichever episode that one was, and then the business school, which I know I always say that but I wrote a show with the guy that wrote that episode. I doing all the stuff I did. So Brent Forrester, and one of the shows I wrote, we wrote it together, and it was like when we talked about it, I didn't realize it. I was like telling him my favorite episode was that episode on The Office because he works on The Office. I worked with Halstead Sullivan, another writer for The Office, that wrote another episode. He wrote the episode where he falls into the koi pond.
Yeah.
He wrote the koi pond episode.
Koi pond's good.
And I think also the women's suit episode. But the koi pond thing happened. Halstead that wrote it, it happened to him, one of his friends.
Really?
And so something happened.
Yeah.
And that's how they got that idea, which is very interesting to think about when how they got these real ideas.
Yeah.
Business school though, when the whole thing is unbelievable. The whole episode, that's your favorite line, idiot.
What's the best advice someone's ever given you?
Yeah.
Don't be an idiot. Change my life.
Changed my life. That's that episode.
Yeah.
And then him going in there and just, I hope he's saying some good things. The felon company. He's a good manager, doesn't fire people. He hires people. That's and then when he goes to Pam, no one's going to Pam's art show. And when he goes to Pam's art show, that's maybe my favorite moment in the whole series. And I told Brent that, and like before I realized he wrote that, I was like, it was such a big deal for him to come and everybody to be like, who cares? And he is truly blown away by her drawing.
Right.
And he's like, this is unbelievable. You did this. Like,
Yeah.
These could be traces.
it's gonna be crazy. Yeah.
Freehand?
It's just he's how much, like I don't see it. I mean, just how sweet that is. That's and it's, you can really feel that it's coming. He means it,
He wrote two of my favorite there. I'm looking at season 3 here, which is my favorite season. But if you look at the writers there on the screen, Brent Forrester wrote The Merger and Business School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best season,
Yeah.
I think.
I
season
love
3.
on the job one. Like, I love the part where Michael doesn't understand he's interviewing for Jan's job.
Yeah.
And so, like, when he tells him, he's like, let's just run away together. You can pay off all my debts.
Yeah.
We can just get out of here.
Yeah.
Season 3 begins with the merger, and I mean, not totally begin, but that's all in there. It ends with Jim asking Pam on that date.
Yep.
Product recall, so funny when he holds that press conference and it
It's
goes
unbelievable. Yeah.
bad.
Oh yeah.
We don't want your business.
If you think I'm going to, that's what I was saying earlier. You think I'm going to quit over this? What does he say? Then he's like, well, you think I'm going to resign over this? Well, you're going to have to drag me out of this office because I will die. You're like,
2,400 rolls or 6 reams, whatever comes first.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments on the show where he says, the headline will read, local paper company says like 100 words.
Yeah.
Some companies still know
How it's done.
Oh, so great.
all right. Let's talk about Seinfeld. Seinfeld is our favorite show. Aaron, are you how much of a Seinfeld guy are you?
Not as big as you two
Us.
and maybe you, John.
Yeah.
But I'm enough to.
Yeah.
I'll hang.
You're Hank.
Yeah.
That's all you want to be in
intelligently
golf.
about it.
You're a guy in golf that you're like, I just don't want to be a problem out there. I want to hit the ball
I
forward.
just don't want to be a liability,
Yeah.
dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still working on that with Nate, but
Yeah. Very good. So Seinfeld, Seinfeld is our favorite show. Seinfeld, we watch it. I
Yeah.
watch it every day. I watch it last night. I watch it while I eat. I mean, Seinfeld's my guy. It's my comedian. When the documentary about him starting to stand up comedy was a huge deal. I moved to Chicago first to start comedy, and comedian. I watched it in the movie theater, and I was like by myself in this theater.
It's called
then-
Comedian.
It's called Comedian.
It's on Netflix.
It's on
isn't it? I
Netflix.
saw it. Yeah.
It's about how it's a great, if someone hasn't seen it, shows you kind of how the New York comedy scene works. And I remember seeing that, and I remember being like, that's where I have to be if I want to be doing stand-up.
The
And
place
then
to
that's
be.
when I moved. It's the place to be. What do we call it? It's the place to be.
Yeah.
And so I knew going to New York was what I had to do for stand-up.
Yeah.
Seinfeld is, I've never met him, but I mean, he's the guy. I mean, he's everything he's done. His career has been basically perfect. There's nothing really he's done. The Marriage Ref that our friend Tom Papa hosted, but it still was a great show. It was. I just think it got caught. He had. It's the only thing he produced that, but it's the only thing that he did that wasn't basically a major hit, and he wasn't in it. Seinfeld wasn't. He just produced it, but he was on.
Larry
it.
David did an episode.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Okay, I remember that.
With
Yeah,
Madonna.
Ricky Gervais.
It was a pretty good.
Yeah.
I actually think it was a great idea.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, look, Comedians in Cars,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I like that a lot.
The B movie, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And obviously Seinfeld, unbelievable. I mean, everything he's done, and his stand up and his stand up specials are great. I mean, it's pretty crazy. The last time I'm going to tell you this, his stand up. I mean, I could say all the words to it. I could quote like it was the first really stand up that I really dove in and listened to, and like try to picture like why is he saying these words here and this word here, and like really like broke it down. So for Seinfeld, the episode, I mean, so the series, we always say the first probably first 3 seasons.
Definitely first three.
I would say 3.
Are tough to watch. But a big reason for that, the characters don't know, and it's just shot old.
Yeah, they're not. I wouldn't say they're tough to watch. I would just say they're not as good as the later seasons. But just like we were talking, like I went back and watched like part of the first and second season, and like you said, how they're shot is like if they were at this table like right now, if Jerry was talking, it would be on him, and then it would be on like it wouldn't be a
group
back
shot
here where you could see everybody talking like it does in the later episodes. It's very individualized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just Ruth's never seen it, and we just started watching it this past weekend. And
Who's Ruth for everybody? That's nice that I do.
yeah, that's my wife.
That's a
And
callback to the comment.
First of all, she just finished The Office, and she works for a paper company. That's
unbelievable.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so now we're watching Seinfeld, and we watched the Seinfeld Chronicles. Kramer is called Kessler.
Yeah.
In episode 2 or 3, Jerry's dad's a different person.
Yeah.
Wait, he's got the very first one. Kramer's called Kessler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The pilot is?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Seinfeld
Wow.
Chronicles. Yep, it's called Kessler.
Here's what's crazy. When you think about these pilots and them changing that kind of stuff, they changed that. At that moment, they probably think that's insane. People are going to know that forever. And nobody would. That would be a trivia
yeah.
question that most people would probably get wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But they changed the dad.
Yeah.
Right.
They just changed the dad. If you told someone, they'd be like, "Did they?" And I remember,
Mhm.
it's like when we shot that pilot, it was like if stuff ever changed, you're like, "Well, you can't ever change it. It's submitted." And then you really think back, you're like, "Dude, no. If you get a good run at a show, nobody's going to care."
You know,
Yeah.
Fresh Prince, they just changed the mom in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they've
The
done a
Office,
few.
Pan's mom changed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I looked at Seinfeld. There's one of the things. There's a lot of people called double dippers. They call them.
Mm-hmm. There's
and
a bunch.
it's how many people have appeared as two different people during this series.
oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, and it's a lot.
You
I mean,
posted
there's
one
like
about
30.
Matthew Perry, right? Didn't he do that on The West Wing?
Yeah. Matthew Perry, the actual person, makes a cameo on The West Wing, and then 6 seasons later, Matthew Perry shows up as a
character.
Yeah.
So he played himself.
He was seen they were at some
Yeah.
Hollywood party, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Matthew Perry's over."
Yeah.
And then he shows up as
Seinfeld has a bunch
Mhm.
where they're the person. One of them specifically was the woman with the voice. I just don't like your act, Jerry.
I just watched that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that an old one.
Mhm.
And then she's the waitress with the
Mhm.
short hair. She
Yeah.
looks completely different. You would that one you could look at them side by side and you would probably not
Right.
realize it. And they were so far apart. But
In the pilot, it lists in the opening credits Jerry Seinfeld, Michael Richards, Jason Alexander, and Val. Somebody, I think. It's of course Julia Louis-Dreyfus wasn't in it, and the
Mm.
waitress was supposed to have been the 4th character. And then I saw where Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld said, I just don't think they'd be hanging out with a waitress that often. So they changed the character.
Yeah.
Think about that poor woman.
Yeah.
She was in the
Well,
pilot.
think about the dad. The dad's worse than the woman.
Why? She was going to be a regular.
Oh.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah.
he's
I mean,
right.
she was in the opening
Yeah.
credits.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean,
guess
Morty.
I don't
I mean,
know.
they're not on there that often. Like, couple.
You're on there a lot, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna be in
What,
it.
3 episodes
Yeah.
a season or something?
Yeah.
4 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's crazy is you have to like those decisions are, I mean, it's like you just do it. I wonder if everybody knows to give a show a chance. Like, how much do you think when people watch a show, they're like, let me give this show a real shot? Like, look, we think about this podcast. Not every one of these episodes can be great. Nothing of anything can really be great all the
pretty
time.
clear.
So this one, these aren't even on. John, we just let him sit in. This is part of his Vandy class.
My internship.
But it's, like, so do people really give it a go? Like in Seinfeld was almost canceled.
Yeah.
And it was a fight to like get it. And then it shows you that they don't do that stuff anymore. Not as often, where they give shows real chances.
Yeah.
And really like be like, no, let them build an audience. Let them, it's going to be there. Because now it's such like, it's either got to be out the gate great. Think about pilots. When you go look at pilots that are made, what's the most famous Cosby show? You ever watch the Cosby Show? Ever seen any?
Yeah,
of it?
I've watched it maybe, I don't know, probably
When he
40
goes,
times in
Theo,
my
the
life.
real super famous scene.
That's the pilot.
It's the pilot. Theo, when he breaks down money.
Realize that,
When
yeah.
he breaks down money. He goes, "You got this much money." He's telling Theo, well, "That's the stupidest
Yeah.
thing I've ever heard." And he gives him a big speech. That's the pilot. That's probably one of the most famous scenes of the Cosby Show, and that's the pilot, which is insane. But
Is that
now,
where he says, I brought you into this world
And
I
I'll
can
take you out?
Yeah.
I mean, he was basically doing his act.
Yeah.
So he's doing, which is funny, is that because that's what you end up doing a lot. Is you end up doing a lot of your stand up in just on a kitchen table. He's doing like the pushing the baby out. And he's a doctor, and he's at the hospital doing just his stand up act. But the pilot is, I mean, some of them are bad, but that one is unbelievable. How good is Modern Family's got a really good pilot too. But now a lot of shows, I mean, you got to be good out the gate, but they're making the whole series. So I'm sure that helps maybe in a way, because you're writing 8 scripts or 10 scripts.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have as you write this, you're like, okay, we kind of got this. I mean, sure, stuff's going to change, but your difference of it being bad and good is not as drastic.
Right.
All right, who wants to go? You can go first since you're the level of fan.
Talking about favorite episodes?
Favorite Seinfeld episodes. Yeah.
I think, the obvious ones, the contest, all the iconic ones. I'd say one that I really like the most is The Opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that the one where they all
Mm-hmm.
do the opposite of what their instincts are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That and the Bizarro World episode.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites. And then all the ones with Banya. He's like my favorite character on
The
that
soup.
show. And he's
Yeah,
only
I
in a
have
few
that down.
episodes, right? I think he's
Yeah.
in like 4.
He reoccurs a decent bit.
Yeah, but I think when you look back, it's only like 4 or 5 episodes.
That's
he's in.
all?
I think so.
He's in, yeah, that's funny. And he's a stand-up comic. You've worked with him.
I did work with him. Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve Heitner is his name. Really nice
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next? Sorry, I was good. We've
all
been
right.
like 2 hours and 15 minutes. This
Yeah.
is a long one.
Yeah.
I've just realized how long it was.
Sorry.
I'll go quick. I said The Little Kicks is one of the best ones in my opinion, because that's
Yeah.
also Jerry bootlegging the movie.
That's what
and-
I mean. That's the bootleg movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievable. That one. We just talked about it.
That's one
It
of
was
mine. You're
Yeah.
stealing mine.
Where he goes you're doing feature films, buddy.
Yeah.
He's talking
Yeah.
about bootleg, and he's like, this isn't.
This is yeah.
That one's an amazing one.
Yeah.
That storyline,
Well-
every storyline's good. What's the George storyline in that?
He's the bad guy. He's the
yeah,
bad
he's the
boy.
bad
Oh, he's the bad boy.
Yeah.
Elaine does the
Elaine's-
dance.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Elaine's
little kicks.
And then
sense.
Jerry and Kramer. That's
Or
a
bootleg.
pretty
Brody.
unreal episode.
Yeah.
When did they start doing where there was multiple plots and then they all connected at the end? Because that became like the signature thing
Yeah.
for that show.
I just read it was like season 1 was only like 4 or 5 episodes. It was like season 2, maybe the 3rd episode in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I got the puffy shirt and the slicer.
Yeah.
And so the puffy shirt, I just love that one because that's when George is moving back in to with his parents,
Yeah.
and he's complaining to Jerry, and like they're going back and forth on whose parents are worse. And George is like, my father wears sneakers in the pool, and then that he's like, my mother's never smirked, never tee-hee, not a laugh, and he's like, a giggle, he's like, maybe. And then the slicer's great because Kramer's slicing all those meats, and like he's like, I haven't had a good sandwich in 13 years, and like throws around Jerry's sandwich. He's like, me either.
And the slicer's your third episode.
Yeah,
the slicer one's a pretty unbelievable episode.
Very
It's
good.
better than you think.
Yeah.
Because all of the storylines are the Kramer buys the slicer.
Yeah,
Elaine has the slicer, breaks the slicer. They got to feed that cat next door. And then they go, they do and George takes the picture out with, that's the first,
Kruger.
That's the first Kruger.
Yes.
Kruger's my favorite character.
Kruger is phenomenal.
As far as like not a part of the main, Kruger's unreal. So that's the first Kruger.
Yeah.
Because look at this picture right here, George.
Yeah.
He goes, that same thing. They take that, when Kramer goes in there and it's unbelievable.
And he goes, well, I could go either way on you, George, but we need somebody, so whatever.
And the pimple popper MD. Yeah.
We've talked about which character we most identify with, and I don't know if you guys but for you, it's a lot Jerry because getting annoyed with little things that other people don't even notice. There's a lot of Kramer though, because he's always got some new I'll be like, I'm going to try to do this. He's like, oh no, you don't need to do this diet. You need to do. He's got some crazy diet or some new product that you got to try. So there's a lot of you're a mix between Jerry and Kramer. I think.
Yeah. I think you're Newman.
There's some there.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines is so what's your episodes? Because it might be one of your episodes.
All right. I got, I want to mention some honorable mentions here.
Yeah.
The Boyfriend, that's Keith Hernandez.
Yeah.
The Hamptons, the Puffy Shirt, Kiss Hello, the Marble Rye.
Yeah.
The Jimmy, the Chicken Roaster. Chicken Roaster.
Yeah. The Marble Rye was underrated. I watched it last night because I wanted to kind of see about it.
Those are my honorable. So I got the Soup Nazi because I feel like all the storylines are very funny with Armoire and and all that. The Little Kicks, which we've already talked about, and the Pool Guy.
Yeah.
Because that's Movie Phone.
Yeah.
And that's Ramon, the pool guy that hangs out with Jerry. And that's The Worlds Colliding with George and Susan. It's so great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm almost picking from those would be, Little Kicks is unreal. Soup Nazi.
You love Andrea Doria.
Andrea Doria is my favorite.
Yeah.
Andrea Doria is my favorite. That's when the George. Wait, what's the Jerry? Because what's Jerry's storyline?
He's delivering mail for Newman.
Yes. Yeah. And then Elaine.
Elaine is told her date won't be making it because he's been stabbed.
Yeah. Yes, that's great. We got to.
Kramer's cough.
Andrea Doria. How's that not on your? Andrea Doria.
I have it as my fourth right here, but I thought we were doing. I didn't give it the honorable mention.
You don't think it's?
I think it's great, but I think all those I mentioned are great too.
Andrea Doria, dude, the storyline. You don't he's getting going to the vet. Kramer to get dog. He goes, I'd take a vet over an MD any day.
They slowly turn it into a dog. The whole
he goes, he's got to cure a chicken, a frog, a dog, all in the same day.
Smuckers.
And then he's got that cough. Find the dog with that cough. Yeah. And then with the Tales of Costanza.
Oh yeah.
When he goes and does he's just banging on the wall. He goes, oh, sorry, go ahead. And he sits down. He's like, come on. He's that old man.
Ahoy, matey.
Oh, dude. And he walks down that aisle and he's going in, ahoy, matey. He just says that to the guy that.
And then in the beginning when she's like, he was an Andrea Doria survivor, and he goes, oh, it's quite some fire. Shipwreck. I remember.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I would say Andrea Doria. I could be talked into a few. Little Kicks. That's an unreal episode. Soup Nazi would be in there.
Yeah.
I just watched that one. That's such a legendary episode.
Yeah.
It's funny that I'd never picked the contest. The contest is everybody's favorite episode, but I think they like it for what they're talking about and not using the words. I don't remember, like, it's never, that to me is like you're picking it for that reason instead of like really breaking down why you like the episode.
Good pick, Aaron.
No, I think it's a
That's
great
fair.
episode.
I mean, it is iconic for that reason.
Yeah.
It's for that reason. I know,
It's
but
good.
so
I liked it.
I'm not saying you. I actually
Sure.
kind of forgot what you picked, to be honest.
That's all right.
So I wasn't really saying that to you. I'm saying in general, the contest is always ranked as the number one episode for everybody. And I mean, what's the whole storyline of the contest? Is it
John F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Jerry's dating a virgin.
Yeah.
And George goes to his mom's in the
Yeah.
hospital.
There's
and
a
the
girl across the
woman-
street.
Yeah.
There's a
And
girl,
the girl
across the street in the window.
Yeah, it's very sexualized. I
Yeah.
just think they choose it. It is extremely. It's a remarkable. I'm not saying
Yeah.
taking anything away from it,
Yeah.
but I always think that there's better episodes
Yeah.
as a whole than that. The other one I would say marine biologist. That's
Yeah.
one. Here's the thing. That's one that everybody always says is it's always ranked as the top above Andrea Doria. The whole series is not that. The show is it's not one of their strongest. This storyline with Jerry, the T-shirt, and all that is like, who cares? The Marine about George's storyline is unbelievable
Mhm.
in that one, but the rest of it's not that good.
Mhm.
But George's is
The scene at the
unbelievable.
end in the diner where he's
Unbelievable.
yeah,
it's one of the
so
best
good.
scenes in the
With
show. The
golf
sea was
ball.
angry that
Yeah.
day, my friend.
Yeah.
It's
Sea was
one of the
angry.
best scenes in the show. I'm completely the whole George him lying about. I don't know. Why couldn't you say I was being an architect? He's like, I don't know where I'm at on Galapagos Islands.
Yeah.
Sea turtles. The what's the whale line?
It's a fish mammal.
It's a mammal.
Yeah. What is it? The you know,
As George said, the blue whale is the largest animal in the sea, largest mammal in the sea. But as George always says, doesn't have to be. Like they have too much blubber. He's studying
Yeah.
blubber. He
Yeah,
got more
yeah.
blubber, but yeah, that whole run is unbelievable. And but I don't think that whole episode's that good. And I think people,
Yeah.
I think they think about that. The sea was angry that different, and so then that immediately is like, well, that's number one. But if you really look at it, then that's where I think Andrea Doria is pretty flawless in the fact that everybody is
Mhm.
every
That's
storyline is like that's what you got to go do. You got to really go through it and look at every storyline.
I think the money is really good too because I think it contains maybe the best scene in Seinfeld, or not maybe not
Yes.
the best, but it has one of the better lines in Seinfeld when George is like him and Jared debating whose parents have more money, and he's like, he goes to his parents' house and starts asking about like basically his family, and he's like, how old was Aunt Baby when she died?
Yeah,
Or
right.
can you tell me a little bit about Aunt Baby? And Frank just looks to the ceiling and goes, she is deceased.
Yeah.
They keep talking. It's like, how old would Aunt Baby been today, Frank? She would have never made it.
Yeah.
And just like
Unbelievable line. She never would have
completely
made it.
neglects whether, like the question, just
Yeah.
the fact
Yeah.
that
But how old
wouldn't
would
have
she
made
be?
it.
She
Yeah.
never would have made it. I mean, yeah. Festivus. Another one. Festivus might actually be up there
yeah,
for
it's
me.
got to be good.
If Festivus, there's been some doll. Oh, she was.
yeah.
I mean, when Kramer takes that job, he puts his coat in the case that
The bagels go in.
the bagels like it's
the-
the showcase right when they
Yeah.
walk in, and he just jams his coat. A very underrated little thing that I don't think people really
Yeah.
see because it's very quick, but it's ridiculous that he put it there.
H&H bagels.
Yeah. We might have to do a whole entire Seinfeld episode one time. So we're such big fans of it, we can really break it down.
Yeah.
There's a podcast called Signcast. I don't know anything. I just saw it on something. Never listened to it, but they break down every episode if you're
Yeah.
a diehard Seinfeld fan. And maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Go let us know. I've never watched it or listened to it. All right. Was there anything else that we missed or
No,
we good?
you asked me to look up the most watched TV events in world history.
Yes.
Number one, the 1996 Olympics opening ceremonies where Muhammad Ali lit the torch. 3.6 billion people
God,
watched
Wow.
it
That's
crazy.
worldwide. A lot of them were Olympics or World Cups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the most ever is that
Yeah.
3.6
That's
billion.
nuts.
Yeah.
And then YouTube stuff, like YouTube has.
Oh, yeah.
billions.
YouTube. Well, the one thing that we looked up was the thing you mentioned either, that LOL tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, League of Legends.
Yeah, it had over, well, I mean, we've talked about that before in the sports episode. It had more viewers. It had 100 million viewers in 2019. The Super Bowl had 98 million viewers. It was the most watched. There's a music video. I already forgot what.
Charlie Puth, I Will See You Again.
No,
Is
it's
that it?
Despacito. I don't even know how to say it.
Despacito. Yeah.
Is that right?
Bieber
It's
and
got
somebody else.
7 billion views. It's the most viewed
Crazy.
on YouTube. 7 billion.
7 billion.
Yeah.
How many
Which is-
people are on Earth?
7 billion. Almost 8, I think.
Yeah. Is it
Really? I thought it was more than that.
Huh?
That was more
No, I
than
think it's
that.
7 point something.
Yeah,
billion.
that's crazy, dude. All right, this one was, way by far the longest.
Yep.
I don't even know. 2.5 hours?
I don't know.
Is it something? Is it 2.5? 2:24. Ugh. Too long. That's way too long. 2:24. Well, I hope you have a long day at work, and this will be right up your alley. Everybody, please watch John Augustine, U.S. Open, Masters. Follow him. Unbelievable golfer, great guy.
Thank you.
We're all we root for him hard.
Yep.
And that's it. Yeah, thanks please subscribe, do all that stuff, leave in the comments, the ratings. That's been wonderful. We love you all, and see you next week. Bye.